doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear from my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. The NBA starts off the show. Chris Paul has been sent home by the LA Clippers. The Kings getting ready to start a road trip in Houston against the Rockets. But Chris Paul, what's the big deal here? Like, why is everybody shocked? I mean, you would have thought that they had just released Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They released Chris Paul. Guy's done nothing. I mean, all he's been doing for the last couple of years is hanging around and hanging around. He should have retired years ago. I mean, has he done a lot for the game? Yes. Has he been one of the league's best players over his career? Yes. Has he ever done it in the postseason? No. But that doesn't, like, all of a sudden you take an individual and flush his career down the toilet. But what's the big deal here? Seriously, what's the big deal? Guy's 40 years old, and he can't play anymore. It's pro sports. It's pro sports. And, like, you got to come out with a statement. I understand. And Lawrence Frank of the Clippers did that. He's the president of basketball operations. Quote, "We are parting ways with Chris. He will no longer be with the team. We will work with him on the next step of his career. Chris is a legendary Clipper who has had a historic career. I want to make one thing very clear. No one is blaming Chris for our underperformance. I accept responsibility for the record we have right now. There are a lot of reasons why we struggled. We're grateful for the impact Chris has made on this franchise." So the Clippers have lost 14 of their last 16. They're 5-16. Paul was on a one-year deal. All right. He wanted to go to a place where he spent 6 seasons with from 2011 to 2017. It was reported last month by Sham Sharani of ESPN that this was it for Paul in his 21st season. So, like, what's the big deal? Like, is this a charity now, the NBA? Chris Paul's played in 16 games this year, averaging 2.9 assists, 3 assists, and 14 minutes. So, like, I'm supposed to be shocked that the Clippers have said so long to Chris Paul? I don't get it. What's the big deal? Seriously, what is the big deal here? I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, I understand it's news, and I understand that people want to talk about it, but you would have thought they had just cut Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, by the way, they had, and they traded him to Oklahoma City. How did that work out? And as far as Chris Paul's legacy, I don't know what his legacy will be. Really good point guard, could never win in the playoffs. Even when he was with the Clippers, I mean, they had DeAndre Jordan, they had Blake Griffin. Doc Rivers was the coach. They could never make it out of the second round. Never. And Chris Paul was a big reason why. And you can go to all of his stops. And listen, I watched Chris Paul play for many years as the announcer sitting courtside in the NBA. I enjoyed watching him play. But now all of a sudden at age 40, a guy that can't play anymore, as Jerry Reynolds likes to use the term, dead horse. They wave a dead horse. And I have to be like shocked. I'm not shocked. And even though Russell Westbrook is much more efficient, it's not even close, at age 37 than Chris Paul at 40, I think the Kings ought to do the same thing with Russell Westbrook. Makes no sense. Why do the Kings have Russell Westbrook on their team? Seriously. As I said, I can lose just as easily without Russell Westbrook as I can with Russell Westbrook. And because of Westbrook now, everything that we discussed when they acquired Westbrook, who was available because nobody had signed him, has happened. We said it would stunt the growth of several other players, that it would not be good in the development of the Kings' young players. And guess what? It hasn't. And Westbrook has had some really good games for the Kings. He's also had some very unproductive games for the Kings, particularly as of late. Why do you have Westbrook on your team? Why? I don't get it. I didn't get it the day they signed him. And even now, as the Kings begin a road trip, and they're near the very bottom of the standings at 5-16, with the worst point differential in the Western Conference and the second worst in the league. Again, explain to me, why do the Kings have Russell Westbrook on their roster? What was so great about Westbrook that Scott Perry said, I need to have him? It was rumored all summer. It didn't make sense to me in the summer, and it makes less sense to me now. And your free agent signing, and Dennis Schroeder, who, by the way, is still questionable at the moment, has been a big disappointment, so much so he doesn't even start anymore. Guess who starts? That's right, Westbrook. As Jerry Reynolds has been telling us on our YouTube channel, the Kings are an old team. And it's okay to have an old team when you're winning. It's not okay to have an old team when you're losing. Well, guess what? The Kings are 5-16. And tonight they start a road trip in Houston against the 13-5 Rockets, who are coming off a loss. Then they go to Miami, who's 14-7. And then they have a chance, although I would not pick them to beat Indiana, because Indiana's going to want to win a game here or there. I mean, and at what point, we go over the schedule a lot, and especially at the beginning of the season, because it's fun to try to forecast what may or may happen. And even though I claimed before game one that this Kings season would be a disaster, I didn't think it would be to this magnitude this early. I mean, I thought they'd be out of it by Thanksgiving, and I said so, and I'm on the record for saying so. And I said that you're going to have all the vets want to get out of here and that this thing's going to be a mess, and that's exactly what's happened. But even with those comments, I didn't think it would be this bad. I mean, this is awful. And you deserve so much better if you're a fan of this basketball team. So the NBA tonight, the big news, Chris Paul. But again, I don't understand the big deal. Portland's in Cleveland. Denver's at Indiana. Spurs take on the Magic in Orlando. Hawks host the Clippers. The Hornets are in New York to take on the Knicks. Brooklyn travels to Chicago. Detroit at 17-4 is in Milwaukee against a disappointing Bucks team at 9-13. And then the Heat are in Dallas. The Mavericks have climbed up a little bit. They now have 7 wins. So, we talk about, what's a really big win? And people looked at the Milwaukee game. Well, as it turns out, the Bucks really aren't that good. And I'm not diminishing the win at 135-133, but the Bucks really aren't that good. They really aren't. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, you can text the show at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. NFL, if you are a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, I've got some very bad news for you. Your playoff chances this year are hanging by a thread, and now you have lost your rookie left tackle, Josh Simmons, who was the first-round pick for at least 4 games. And by the way, this guy had been playing really, really well. He had allowed a pressure rate of just 6.6%, which is third lowest among left tackles. How about that? And the second lowest by a rookie left tackle since 2018. That is according to the Next Gen Stats page. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so if you think that's bad, the Chiefs may also be without right tackle Jawan Taylor and right guard Trey Smith this week. I mean, that is the last thing that you need if you are a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs and if you are Andy Reid. I don't think the Chiefs are going to the playoffs. They're going to have trouble scoring. They really are. They're going to have a lot of problems. A lot of problems. This is not good. Plain and simple, there's no other way to say it. This is not good. Not good at all. All right, let's get to the schedule this week with the games. Speaking of that game, how would you like to have a patched-up offensive line going against the Houston defense? How does that sound for you? That's going to be the case Sunday night. The Chiefs against that front of Houston. Good luck. Dallas is at Detroit. You have Seattle at Atlanta. By the way, that Dallas-Detroit game, the loser may just be out. That's for a Thursday night. That's a heck of a game. Seattle at Atlanta. Buffalo home to Cincy. Tennessee is at Cleveland. Washington is on the road in Minnesota. Miami at the Jets. Saints at the Bucks. Colts are in Jacksonville. That's a big game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Big game. Denver at the Raiders. Chicago at Green Bay. Big game. Rams at Arizona. I told you Houston, Kansas City. And then Philadelphia at the Chargers, big game. There are a lot of good games this week. Seattle, Atlanta. Seattle has to keep winning. They're on the road, right? The Indianapolis, Jacksonville, big game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, big game. Chicago, Green Bay. A lot of good games this week. A lot of good games. 916, Grant, I'm not a Cowboys or Lions fan, but tomorrow's game will be very interesting for the playoff race. Huge. Huge. Grant, what do you think about getting Chris Paul? He might want to stay in California and could help mentor the youth. 530, let me explain something to you. Do you know that one of the biggest misconceptions that's been going around are how the veterans can mentor the youth? Do you know how absurd that is in most cases? I mean, it's ridiculous. You want Chris Paul on this roster because you think it's going to mentor the youth? What about Doug Christie? He could mentor the youth. What about Bobby Jackson? He could mentor the youth. What about DeMar DeRozan? What about Domantas Sabonis? What a bunch of you want to bring? What about Russell Westbrook? Now you need Chris Paul. What do you want to be, a senior facility? This would go under the category of assisted living. I mean, seriously, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? How stupid is that? Wake up. Would you please? Wake up. Seriously, what are you thinking about? All right, back to what I was saying with the conference and this game that's coming up with Dallas at Detroit. Think about this for a minute. Detroit is 7-5. Dallas is 6-5-1. So when you look at the standings currently and you try to project who's coming out of the NFC, you have Chicago and Green Bay that are in the driver's seat. You have the NFC West, where right now it looks like the divisional winner and two teams will represent the NFC in the playoffs for a total of 3. And if you look at the runner-up of the NFC North being 4, I mean, the loser of this game, Detroit and Dallas, may say, see you next year. That's where we're at right now. So I would agree with you. This is a really big game to start off the week. And then you have Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Both teams are 6-6. Big, big game. Indianapolis, Jacksonville, both teams at 8-4. It's going to be a heck of a week in the NFL. Chicago, 9-3. Green Bay, 8-3-1. So if you look at this from Detroit's perspective, one of those teams is going to have 4 losses. And if Detroit can win to go to 8-5, they're alive and breathing. If they lose and go to 7-6, I think they're done because they're not going to finish ahead of any of the teams in the West. And you at that point would be 3 games back in the loss column for the division. And you would also, in all likelihood, then be fighting out with the runner-up in the NFC South. I don't like this spot for the Lions. If they lose this game, I think they're done. And I think you can definitely say the same thing about the Chiefs. You know, if the Chiefs lose this game, and by the way, I think they will lose this game. I don't know how you're going to beat the Houston Texans without your starting left tackle. It looks like you're starting right tackle, and maybe you're starting right guard. The Houston defense is too good. And when you look at Kansas City at 6-6, I mean, New England and Buffalo are both going to be in, right? You may only have one team out of the AFC North. In all likelihood, the runner-up in the AFC South is going to be in, and maybe 2 teams with the way Houston's playing. Denver is going to be in. The Chargers look good. Kansas City's done if they lose this game. They're done. They're out. Bye. See you later. Let's get some fresh blood in here. That's exactly what is going to happen. That's what's going to happen. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. I can't wait for the NFL this weekend. It is going to be like some must-see games. I like that for a change. And I say for a change, I don't think there's been a lot of those games. But now after what do we say? The NFL season begins once Thanksgiving hits. Well, Thanksgiving has arrived. We're ready to roll. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I can't wait to watch the games this week. Hey, I want to talk to you about my friends at DAS Mechanical. I didn't realize this until recently, that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Did you know that? I didn't. It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on your energy bills. Now, if you're a current heating and air system, if it is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Get in touch with DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DSA's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. That's right. And Nick, the owner, and his team, they are experts at this. They also have 0% financing available and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. They're award-winning, numerous 5-star reviews, locally owned. I'm talking about DAS Mechanical, serving Sacramento and Placer County. Save more on your energy bills. Go to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A-S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can book everything online. Check out their whole business model with their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards. That's dasmechanical.org, dasmechanical.org. 916-779-0929, the number. Coming right back on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Brad Gazan, on Atlanta United, we know everyone has a ritual, a habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Find resources at georgia.loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the Wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Kings and Rockets tonight. Post-game show on YouTube and X. Jerry Rano and myself. The Rockets are coming off a loss to Utah, a team that I wish Sacramento would look like. Ryan, when the fourth quarter starts, is this game within 10 points? I really don't see how. I got to be honest with you. The matchups, you want to talk about matchups, the Kings are going to have a real problem, regardless of whether Steven Adams plays or not. I mean, I'm looking at the Rockets. I'm looking at the lineup that they put out there, and I look at Şengün, and I mean, he may go off for 30 and 30 tonight. Seriously.
Yeah, it all depends on whether Max can stay out of foul trouble, because I actually think it's a decent matchup for Max on Şengün. But, yeah, I think a game will be within 10 points. It feels like one of those games where the Kings maybe play up to the level of their competition despite the mismatchup.
I think Şengün's going to make Max look like he's in junior high school. Max is not ready for this. I'm sorry. He's just not. I mean, Şengün has developed into one of the best bigs in the league. And, you know, he's averaging 23 points, 9 rebounds. He also, here's another aspect of his game, which I love. You know that he averages 7.3 assists?
Yeah. He did you see the transformation that he made over the summer with his body as well?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other issue is Thompson. And I look at him from his guard position and what he's been able to do. You have to remember that the Rockets, this is a team that lost Fred VanVleet before the season began. And I really thought that was going to impact them in a very negative way. And maybe they're still searching for perfection there. But Reed Shepherd is a guy at shooting guard that has been unbelievable. And Jabari Smith, the matchups are just going to be a real problem for the Kings tonight with this team. And here's the other deal. They're coming off a loss to Utah.
They are. They're going to be motivated. That was a close game. I actually watched that one. I would say this. This is a game where you're going to see a lot of zone defense. And yes, it is a mismatch, but for the Kings with the personnel they have, I think Max matches the most or has the best attributes to maybe deal with Şengün. But bottom line, Grant, in this one, the Kings have to make shots. They're 29th in the league in offensive rebounding. The Rockets are number 1. They're the best rebounding team in the league.
Yep.
So it's going to come down to that. And can they force some turnovers?
I think Doug would like to have, maybe he wouldn't, his response 2 weeks ago when after the game, a reporter asked him about the offense. And he basically didn't want to talk about it, saying we don't have a problem offensively. Again, I think that it's either he's just saying that because either he really believes that or it sounds good. The Kings have a lot of problems offensively.
Stagnant. It is the easiest offense in the NBA to guard. It is predictable. It is 3 guards or 3 people above the 3-point line, passing the ball, screening, coming off the screen. You get a couple of nuances from that. But, yeah, you need much better. You need to be able to get in transition. And really, you need to run some set plays for Keegan Murray, for Zach LaVine. It's not that hard, and especially with the Kings playing such a limited offensive scheme, to my eye, you start running some plays, you're going to throw the defense off a little bit.
I think this game could get real ugly tonight. I think it could get very, very ugly. Yeah, I think, to me, the Kings look like a team that has, for all intents and purposes, checked out. And I don't mean check out for 48 minutes and quit. But there were too many times during the game where they do check out. And this, I don't see how they're going to stay on the floor with this team tonight. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think in order for the Kings to be competitive in this game, everyone's going to have to play an A game. I really mean that. I mean, when I look at this starting 5 of Thompson, Shepherd, Durant, with Jabari Smith and Şengün, I don't know how you're going to stay on the floor with this team. I just don't.
This is a game, Grant, where the Kings cannot play 10 guys. They've got to go deeper than that. You have to throw lines and different looks at the Rockets. That really, combined with what we've talked about up until this point, is your only chance, because they're big, they're athletic. I've never seen somebody get off the floor as quickly as Amen Thompson. So the athleticism compared to the Kings is absolutely night and day.
Well, and here's the other deal. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. They smother you because that's the way Ime Udoka coaches. The Rockets play tremendous defense.
Well,
and their point differential, if you can believe this, Ryan, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Their point differential is 21 points better than the Kings.
Mm.
Think about that for a minute. Think about that.
Yeah.
They're 13-5 with a plus 10.6.
Well, Grant, they're one of the top teams in the West. They should be. I mean, I just look back at how the Kings have played them, or at least how they played them last year. It was much better than the year before. So I just, with the time off, it seems like you're going to get a good version of the Kings. Now, the sports books don't think so. It's 15.5-point underdogs, which is the second highest spread.
Is it really?
Second highest spread of the year, second to 18.5 on November 2nd with the Kings in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and I don't go by last year because the Rockets are a different team this year. They're a different team. You don't have Green. You don't have Brooks. You now have Durant. You don't have Van Vliet.
Yeah.
It's a different team. Here's the other. You and I talk about this a lot, right? The over-under with Neat Clifford and Keon Ellis. What do you think? Give me a number tonight. Let's have some fun here.
It absolutely has to be. Okay, let's go 21 minutes combined. You going over or under?
I'm going under because there's nothing that I've seen. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go over because I think the Kings are going to get blown out. And when they're getting blown out, I think in the fourth quarter, you'll see maybe both of those guys play the entire quarter.
Okay. I'm going to go over because this is a game that screams them needing to be on the floor. Maybe even Devin Carter getting a couple minutes in this game. I just don't see how you're going to keep Zach LaVine on the floor with these defensive matchups, and even DeMar DeRozan to a degree for 35, 40 minutes. You're going to have to cut into those minutes just purely because of the defensive end of the court.
Isn't it interesting? I think Zach LaVine is the most puzzling player to discuss that I've experienced in a long time. Because if somebody said, tell me about Zach LaVine, like, how would you describe Zach LaVine? I would describe him this way. Unbelievably talented, graceful offensively, just like so skilled, but can't win, has never won, and doesn't make anybody on the court better. That's how I would describe Zach LaVine. He doesn't make anybody on the floor better. He has one of the worst plus minuses in the NBA year after year after year. He is, when you watch him, like if you went to the game and you didn't know anything about the players, you just were going as somebody that was observing basketball, but you had a blank card in front of you and you had no preconceived thoughts of the individuals that you were watching. Most times you would walk out of the gym going, wow, that number 8, he's really, really good. But when you look at his career, it is the most puzzling player to discuss because he's so gifted and so skilled, and yet he doesn't help anybody win, and he doesn't make anybody on the floor better. He just doesn't.
It's an excellent point about not making anybody better. Now, is that partly due to the players that have been around him in his career, partly due to the fact that he hasn't largely been able to stay healthy, and to his credit, he has here in Sacramento. If I had to, and I agree with everything you said, he is poetry in motion. He is so beautiful to watch, a smoothness that just cannot be taught. But if I had to describe him this season, doing enough to get by, that's what I would say.
I don't think, well, it's first of all, he doesn't want to be here. All right. We all know that. He would love to be gone. And I just think he's making a ton of money. And I'm not saying he doesn't care, but like, I'm like, he doesn't care. He really doesn't. He's checked out. And he's great with the media. He answers the questions. He's respectful. But my eyes tell me otherwise. I mean, I'm just telling you that is the way it is. All right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I hear you. I want to go back to your open really quick because I think there's a nuance that you're not hitting on this Chris Paul situation. It's not so much the Clippers letting go of Chris Paul, which they have not officially done. It's the way that the Clippers did it. And I think that is why it's catching traction.
How did they do it? What was wrong with how they did it?
They just sent him home in the middle of the night, Grant. If you're going to part ways with a player and put out what you've put out, eat it. Eat the $3.6 million, cut him. You know you're not going to be able to trade him.
No, of course
the teams that might want his services can't get his services because they're either in the aprons or, over the cap due to the new CBA rules. You just cut him right there. You don't send him home in the middle of the night after he's announced his retirement and just let him sit like he's a problem.
He's not a problem. I don't think that's fair.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that they did not like him speaking up, holding players accountable, holding management, coaches accountable. He was being a quote-unquote nuisance, especially with a dumpster fire that is the LA Clippers right now.
Yeah, I think they're the biggest disappointment in the league. You thought this might happen because of all the off-the-court issues as it relates to Kawhi Leonard and the third-party company and getting paid. Is it legal? Is it illegal? Everything else. So, yeah, it's a mess, right? I mean, the Clippers are an absolute mess. But I want to get back to something I said about the Rockets playing in Utah. And you said you watched some of that game. Don't you love may be too strong of a word. Don't you really enjoy watching the Jazz play? They're one of my favorite teams to watch.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun. They get it. It's team basketball.
Yes.
You know who the offense is centered around, and then you also know who's that guy that's always the wild card in Keontae George. Grant, I look at Keontae George, and he reminds me of a diet young De'Aaron Fox. He's quick. He can shoot a little bit. He's athletic. He's got that length. They're a fun watch. It's hard. Grant, I was watching the games last night. All of the teams, even the Pelicans, at the bottom of the Western Conference are competing and looking like teams. The Pelicans take the T-Wolves to overtime, ultimately lose in front of 27 fans at the Smoothie Center.
Without Zion.
Just you can go down the list. Portland in Toronto.
Phoenix
as well. So they're all competing. That's why with this Kings team, it's just that. You almost can't call them a team right now. You almost just have to say the Kings.
Okay, so that is why I'm so critical of Doug Christie. Because you can say all you want about the roster, and you can question the roster that Scott Perry gave Doug, which I would agree is inadequate.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of other rosters that are inadequate, and they're competing every night. The Kings don't compete every night, and I'm sorry, that falls on the coach. I'm sorry, but that's coaching. That is the responsibility of the coach, and I don't see how anyone can dispute that.
Here's where the responsibility falls on me. And everything you said about the ingredients Doug has, it's true. They're undersized. Right now, Dennis Schroeder looks like it was not a very good signing by Scott Perry. But the bottom line is Doug Christie controls which ingredients go out on the court, and the ingredients that can do or possibly do the things that he's preaching at every post game, before games and press conferences. These are our pillars. These are our morals. It's going to be defense. He's not playing any of those guys. So that's where the onus falls on him. And that's where, for me, the big question is, well, how do you preach this, but then leave Keon on the bench? Like the national media is all over right now. How do you preach this and not give Devin Carter a tiny bit of run? What about Neat Clifford? Come on. Those are the things. If you can't cut in to 6 to 7 minutes of unproductive time from some of your veterans to give them a little bit of an extended run, that's on you, coach. You're not.
You know what's going to be really bad? And I predict that this is going to happen. I predict that in the near future, not this year, we are going to be talking about Keon Ellis the same way we're talking about Davion Mitchell. And that you're going to say, gee, you had Davion Mitchell on your team and another bad move by the organization. You're going to say the same thing about Ellis, because I think the chances of him first of all, I don't think he's going to be here next year, but I don't know why he would want to be here next year. If I'm Keon Ellis, I don't want to be anywhere near this organization. I want to get out of here. I want to go play for a different team. I want a fresh start. I don't like the way I've been dealt with. I don't know what I have to do to earn playing time. And this franchise is a mess. Everyone knows it's a mess. I'm a free agent, and I need to get out of Dodge. That's what if I'm Keon Ellis, that's exactly what my mindset is.
Spot on. I would be right there with you, and I would even go as far to say it's going to be a bigger deal than Davion Mitchell for a couple of reasons. I think Keon has a higher upside right now than Davion Mitchell, especially with the way the game is played today. And also, Keon was the picture-perfect example of player development within an organization. Undrafted. You get him in Stockton. You mold him. You get him up to the main roster. He has, success. And I personally think we have only seen the tip of what Keon's game can be. Look at what he's done against a Steph Curry. Not just one time, 3, 4, 5 times, Grant. It's going to be worse. Keon he's never going to be an all-star, but he's going to be a player that ends up playing, much like Halliburton, late into the spring.
But let's just play Russell Westbrook 30 minutes a game. Let's just do that. Again, it makes absolutely 0 sense to me. 0 sense. What does make sense is having someone that's really experienced with a track record behind them when it comes to real estate, when it comes to buying a home, selling a home, home equity line of credit. That's Spence at Village Financial Group, broker owner that I've known for a long time since he began his family-owned business back around 2000. And if you are in the market, buying, selling, you want a home equity line of credit, Spence is experienced. He's a financing specialist. He's very creative, and he has access to private money. Call or text Spencer at 916-805-4868. And if you go to the website, vfgloans.com, that's right, vfgloans.com, you'll find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Spencer with Village Financial Group at 916-805-4868. It makes sense to call Spence. Again, 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. 916-779-0929. To get involved via the text line or the phone lines here on the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, Poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the Lane Kiffin situation, going from Ole Miss to LSU, and debating should he have been allowed to coach? There's a whole can of worms. Does the world of college football need to have a complete overhaul on their system? A lot of people blaming the college football calendar. The problem that really, if you want to get right down to it, probably affects the players a lot more than the coaches. I mean, it's just the way it is. But this thing is already turning ugly, and you kind of knew that it would. The athletic director at Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, I guess is now disputing several of the things that Lane Kiffin talked about in his press conference and leading up to the press conference, including the timing, all right, of when Kiffin was actually told that he would not be able to coach in the postseason. So I guess Kiffin, the athletic director, Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, was on a program called Super Talk Mississippi, all right, just to give proper credit, and was quoted as saying this about Lane Kiffin: a lot of things publicly that I'm not sure are totally accurate. How about that? One of the real keys is the claim that it was early on Sunday, this past weekend, that he was informed that he would not be coaching the team in the college football playoffs. So, according to Carter, Kiffin and Jimmy Sexton, his agent, were told earlier in the week that if Lane Kiffin left after the Mississippi State game, if he made the announcement that he was leaving, that he would not be coaching in the college football playoff, that they wanted to make that very clear. All right? The only change that was discussed would be that if Ole Miss had qualified for the SEC title game, all right, and again, that decision had not been made, but it was in the air. It was left open, okay? Carter on the program said, quote, "It was very clear that coaching the postseason was not going to be an option for Coach Kiffin several weeks ago." How about that? And according to Carter, he said it was Saturday early evening that Lane Kiffin informed him that he'd be leaving to go take the job at LSU. And they worked pretty much all night, Carter and his staff, to target who is going to be the Rebels' next coach for this remaining season. It's incredible here. There's also players that are coming out. Kiffin, when he announced his departure, talked about that players had asked him to remain as coach. And Carter said this about a meeting between Lane Kiffin and the leadership group at Ole Miss. Quote, I don't think the way he portrayed that meeting was accurate. There was a lot of pushback to him leaving. Begging for him to stay is certainly an overstatement. And our players are starting to show what really happened in that meeting. Many of the prominent players on Ole Miss went to social media, including X, disputing Lane Kiffin's claim about the players asking him to stay. One of the star linebackers, Perkins, wrote this on social media, quote, that was not the message you said in the meeting room. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this. Here's the bottom line. This thing is going to get uglier and uglier. And Rhino, I'll ask you, can you imagine the first time LSU plays Ole Miss? Oh, boy. What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be something to see. But, Grant, why is this still going on? Who cares?
It's going to be going on for a long time.
You know, they're talking to the yoga studio that Lane apparently went to.
It's the world we live in.
It's insane.
Well, we live in an insane world. It's ridiculous. It's like people just can't accept what is reality. They have to dig and dig and dig and do things that are just completely uncalled for in quote unquote trying to uncover a story. What's the story here? The story is that Lane Kiffin has a better opportunity to win a national championship than he has at Ole Miss. He's going to have a better opportunity to recruit better players. I mean, that's the reality. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yep.
He's got a better chance of winning a national championship at LSU than he does at Ole Miss. And you've heard me say this. I think that Lane is overrated as a coach. I'm sorry, but I do. But he's got a better chance to win at LSU than he has at Ole Miss. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But it's got a better chance. Plain and simple. Got a better chance. And, by the way, he is going to make a substantial amount of money. That's more than what he would made if he had stayed at Ole Miss. But he made it very clear that's not why he took the job. He said in his press conference, whether you believe him or not, he wasn't even aware of the numbers that were being discussed and told his agent, I don't want to know the numbers because I don't want it to affect my decision.
Yeah. And, of course, that's going to be debated. It is being debated nationally. I would also just kind of add this in there about Lane and this entire situation. We've talked about it continuing to happen, but two things also can be true at the same time. Lane might have talked to one or two players that were in the meeting before the meeting and they may have said, hey, coach, we want you to stay coaching. You know, and so that's where we lose balance of all this. It's just, you never know who's telling the truth or not.
Here's the balance in this. It's a bad look for Lane, who did the same thing at Tennessee, who ran off in the middle of the night to go to USC, has a history of jumping ship, but that's not unusual now in college football. So let's make that very clear. But here's the problem. And you can put blame wherever you want, or you can say, well, that shouldn't have happened, or that shouldn't have happened. And I'm fine with that conversation. The bottom line, and I don't think anybody can dispute this, since college football changed their business model with transfer portals, with the name, image, and likeness, and everything else, and the amount of money that players are now getting, the money for coaches is at a level that we've never seen it before, and it's going to stimulate movement. That's what's happening. And the calendar that they refer to in college football is creating a mess and a scenario that is bad for everything related to college football. A coach that's getting ready to coach his team in the college football playoff that leaves before the playoffs begin is a bad look. Players who decide, well, I'm not in the college football playoff, so I'm not going to play in the bowl game because I don't want to risk getting hurt is bad. There's a lot of bad that's going on currently in college football, but yet it doesn't deter people from watching it. It doesn't affect the bottom line, which is money. It doesn't affect the TV ratings. People love college football, and in many regions of the country, it is literally their life 12 months out of the year. But there's nobody that can look at the world of college football, the business of college football, and say, oh boy, that's really good the way they're doing things. No, it's not good. It's really bad.
No, and see, to me, and I think we've had this discussion before, you've shared your stories about the different SEC towns that you've visited and gone to games at. That's the nuance. It's the purest form of football right now. And it's slowly starting to erode. And I wonder, as this continues to happen more and more, and coaches possibly leaving to get raises to stay at their universities, I wonder what that cliff is going to look like when fans start to get turned off. What's it going to take to get there? Or will we ever get there? Because it's college. It's a different atmosphere on game day.
It is not good, no matter how you look at it, from the purity of the sport. Maybe people don't want to hear that word anymore because it seems like it doesn't exist in sports. But I wonder what the conversation is going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as it relates to college football. I wonder where we're going to be. Hey, I want to talk to you about my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know that most homeowners, they're changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? Yeah, the bottom line is it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot of money every month on energy bills. And if you have a current heating and air system and it's 15 years old or older, it may be time to consider a change. All right. DAS Mechanical is so good at what they do. And nearly all of DSA's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick, the owner, and his team, they're experts. They specialize in this. They also have 0% financing available. And remember this, 24/7 availability if you ever have an emergency. All right? They're there for you. Award-winning, locally owned DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. They're awesome. Go to dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can schedule everything online. Check out their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards. That's dasmechanical.org. Kings and Rockets, Sacramento opening up a road trip in Houston against the very good Rockets, but they're not unbeatable. They just lost in their last game where they were in Salt Lake City and they got beat by a pesky Utah Jazz team. So you're catching them coming off a loss. And as of right now, as we approach 4 o'clock, Dennis Schroeder is still listed as questionable. I don't really think that's that big of a deal whether he plays or not. I'm sorry. I don't really think that's going to impact the game greatly, but just being official here, he is still questionable. Does it even matter who the Kings play anymore, whether the team is good or not? Seriously, does it matter? Isn't it more about what the Kings are doing? Do they have any consistency, competitiveness? To me, that's really what it's about. Are the young guys going to play? At what point are they going to flip the switch and go, all right, we got to do it? At what point is that? You're at the quarter pole, 21 games. You're there. Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento, your calls when we come back.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, Choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, we take your phone calls. 916-779-0929. Hope you're having a good afternoon. Don't forget to join us post-game. YouTube, X, Jerry Reynolds, Ryan in Sacktown. Yours truly. Looking forward to that. Let's see what Mac has to say. Mac, you're on with Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hey, good evening. How are you? Or good afternoon.
Thank you for calling.
So I kind of wanted to piggyback off of the segment that you had just before break about the Lane Kiffin. And, the college football committee says we're worried about who are the best teams right now. And kind of what I wanted to ask is, you have Texas A&M behind Ole Miss, who's 11-1. Both teams are 11-1. There are other teams that are, just as competitive. But Ole Miss doesn't even have a coach. So how can they be ranked like 6th?
What difference does that make?
Makes sense.
Why would that matter? Well, it's because it's not what's going to happen. If rankings don't have anything to do with what's going to happen in the future, your rankings are based on what you've done, not what you think's going to happen in the future. That's not how you do rankings.
But that's what
you don't rank based on what you don't know is going to happen. You rank based on what has happened.
But that's the justification to move Alabama over Notre Dame, is because they're the better team right now. And so that's where I'm asking, if that's what the college football committee decides is who's the better team right now, how can Ole Miss be at 6 without a coach?
It's based on who's the better team right now, based on the last game played, not based on what's going to happen at the SEC championship game or any other championship game. I mean, I don't understand that. You can't just all of a sudden take a team. Now, here's the only exception I would make for this, if you don't mind. Do you remember? Was it last year or the year before? One of the teams in the Final Four had just lost their starting quarterback, and everyone knew he wasn't going to play going to the college football playoff, and they felt
it was Georgia, right?
No, it wasn't Georgia.
It was Georgia.
I want to say
Stockton had to play, right?
Yeah, well, okay, but whatever. That would be the only way I might change one of the teams in the Final Four. Now that doesn't happen anymore because you have 12 teams that make the playoffs. But like if I'm looking at the rankings right now, all right, and you mentioned Alabama, who's ahead of Notre Dame. Does it really matter whether you're 9 or 10? Is it that significant that Alabama's 9 and Notre Dame's 10 as opposed to Notre Dame being 9 and Alabama 10? I mean, here's the deal. Alabama's either going to move up or move down based on their game coming up with Georgia in the SEC championship. So, I mean, it really does. Right now, it doesn't matter because the college football playoff hasn't begun yet.
Well, it does because you have the automatic bids so you have the boys.
Correct, but not at 9 or 10. Not at 9 or 10.
Okay.
You're right. I think the automatic bid is very important, and I would agree with you that. Right. But it's not. Yeah. It's not in line right now at 9 and 10. Now, if Alabama beats Georgia, who's currently 3rd, that would be huge. But that's not going to affect Notre Dame. They're an independent.
Right, and I pray to goodness because I'm biased. But anyway, have a great afternoon.
All right, you're biased. You're biased because you're a fan of whom?
Of the Irish.
Okay, so here's the deal with Notre Dame. All right, if you look at Notre Dame, what happened to them? They had a quarterback that had never played before and opened up at Miami when Miami was, again, and they were in the game, but they lost, as you well know. Then a lot of people thought that losing at home to A&M in that shootout, what was it, 41-40? I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so then you start off 0-2, but then your quarterback gets more comfortable, Carr gets more experienced, and you win the rest of your games. And as we found out, even though A&M just lost to Texas, we find out that A&M is one of the powerhouses and one of the best teams in college football. So, listen, I can look at Notre Dame. Here's the biggest problem I have with Notre Dame. If you really want to talk about the team that you root for, and I'm fine with doing that, okay, is I applaud them for playing A&M. I applaud them for playing Miami. But after that, they don't have any hard games on their schedule. They have a cupcake schedule. They just do, a cupcake schedule. And they played a top 25 team in USC. Big deal. They're not any good. They played a top 25 team in Pittsburgh. They're not very good. But, I mean, that's the biggest issue that I see with Notre Dame. So, like, if you really want to talk about, well, why are they ranked here or what are they ranked there, I want to ask you a question. What do you think would happen if Notre Dame were in the SEC or the Big Ten? You think they'd be 10-2? I don't. I don't think so. I don't know if they're as good as the record indicates because their body of work, they don't play anybody.
I mean, I said I'm biased, so I don't know.
That's
fine.
I
don't know about this team. I think last year's team, I think they were a little bit better. They had a better third down conversion rate, and they had better kicking game. So I think maybe this year, I mean, that's a fair statement. Also, they play the ACC basically, which isn't as strong as the Big Ten. They used to play the Big Ten schedule, so you're right. They get to play Syracuse and whatnot because
Boise State, NC State, Boston College, Navy. I mean, it's a joke. I'm sorry, it's a joke. They have a cupcake schedule.
No, I'm not arguing that at all. I mean, if they still had those 6 mandated games in the Big Ten, you would be talking different. Because
but
then you could say, play Michigan every year.
Right, I understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, God, you have a great
Mac, can I end it this way? And thank you, Mac. I want to end it this way. But at least here's what we do know. Regardless of whether your side of this, I don't want to say argument, debate, ends up being accurate or mine, Notre Dame is going to be in the college football playoff. And we are going to find out on the field because they are going to be playing against a good team or good teams, and then we'll know, right? Then we'll know. That's what the playoffs for.
And I hope you're right that they get in, because I won't lie, I do have a little bit of anxiety about it. So anyway,
I can't
have a great
imagine them not
afternoon.
getting in. First of all, because they're Notre Dame, because of the way they travel, because of all of the fanfare of Notre Dame, and the fact that they are 10-2 and they are 10th, I got to be honest with you. It would really surprise me right now, without even knowing what's going to happen in the championship games, if they don't get in. It would surprise me.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Well,
So
don't
have a
go
great
by what I
afternoon.
said.
All
Thank
right,
you,
have
Mac.
a great afternoon, and Ryan, have a good afternoon too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, buddy. Very interesting conversation, because I love talking college football. We don't get a lot of calls on college football. So I've been following a story, because I'm always one that loves to talk about entitlement when young players and rookies come into various sports, and I've seen it. It doesn't ever happen in the NHL. You don't ever hear of entitlement in the National Hockey League. It doesn't happen. In the NFL, it happens. It happens all too frequently, and it happens in the NBA, and I have had many, many experiences of players coming in with entitlement. DeMarcus Cousins probably would be at the top of the list in that department. In New York, with the Giants, for the second time in a span of 3 weeks, their number one pick, taken third overall out of Penn State, Abdul Carter, was benched for the first quarter. Now, quite frankly, I don't see what good benching a player does for a series or a quarter. I don't understand that, but just trying to give you some clarity here if you have not followed this story. Well, Lawrence Taylor, who I think personally is the greatest defensive player in the history of the National Football League, and if you didn't watch Lawrence Taylor play because of your age group, to this day, and I've watched football since the early 60s, I've never seen any one player impact a football game the way Lawrence Taylor did. Okay? He made comments to Steve Serby, a columnist for the New York Post, and he had some very strong words about Carter. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but after Carter was drafted, he wanted to wear number 56. And basically, LT and the Giants said, I don't think so. And Lawrence Taylor said, pick your own number, build your own identity, build your own career with your own name, and be your man. Do it that way. Lawrence Taylor said this to Steve Serby of the New York Post, quote, wake up. This is what you worked for. This is where you want to be. So now you're there. Let's wake up. Then he went on and said, don't let your teammates down over BS. If you can't tell your coach what's going on and why you can't be at practice, then it's BS. No one respected the team more than I did as a rookie. Harry Carson, Brad Van Pelt, Brian Kelly. Those guys were my mentors, and I'm not going to let them down. Now, when LT came in, Bill Parcells was the defensive coordinator, and the great Ray Perkins was their linebackers coach. LT said, quote, I'm not going to sit here and bash him, man. He's just got to get his stuff together. And if he gets his stuff together, New York will love him. If you want to win them over, then you got to show them something. I still respected my teammates and respected the team enough to give them all I got. Now, after the game on Sunday, where he didn't play in the first quarter for his punishment, the captain on defense, Dexter Lawrence, also said that Abdul Carter needs to grow up, right? And LT finished by saying, talking about Carter and the other defensive captain, Brian Burns, those two guys need to talk to number 51 and get him straight and say, hey, you got to get your priorities right. Simple as that. I don't know what else to say to him, but he got to get his priorities right. That's LT. He said this, there's no reason not to hustle. There's no reason not to be at practice. There's no reason not to play your ass off when you're out there if you're trying to make a name for yourself, as I was. He's making a lot of money. This is his team. Well, it's not his team. But he said he's making a lot of money. This is his team. I know there's a lot of LT stories out there, but that came later on in my career. But as a rookie, he needs to respect his teammates and want to do as much as he can to help him out. If his teammates are having a problem, then you've got a problem. If the coaches are having a problem, then you got a problem. You were the third pick in the whole draft. You're supposed to be better than this. You make history on what you do on that field, not off that field. Wake up, Abdul Carter. Very interesting comments from Lawrence Taylor. I have never understood the entitlement that I've seen over the years in pro sports. I understand it over a day or two, but then a player does not get a wake-up call after established veterans, assistant coaches, and coaches that have had Hall of Fame careers try to take a young man aside and say, that's not how we do it here. This is how we do it here. This is what's expected of you. Like, to me, if I walked into a business with entitlement and I had those individuals around me, and all teams have those individuals around, and if you don't think so, you're kidding yourself, and you don't get your wake-up call in a day or two at the most, then you have a real issue. Now, I'm not inside the Giants locker room. I do have a lot of contacts inside the Giants organization, numerous, more than any other franchise in the National Football League. And I would just say this about Carter. Everyone's known that this has been going on. He has been bitterly disappointing. Entering the game on Sunday where he did get a sack, he only had a half sack. He's been a non-factor on the Giants defense. And now you have this on top of it. And I keep talking about entitlement. I don't understand why there's so much of that going on. I don't know if it's because a lot of the players now are coming in with money in their pockets already, or the guaranteed money, particularly in the NBA, if you're a high draft pick, is so good, or you're the big man on campus. And as the big man on campus, you're used to everybody kissing your butt and getting things your way. And you can kind of do what you want because you're the big man on campus. And everyone knows that you are going to make the team the team that people want to root for. You've got a chance to win a natty, all of that. Okay, I understand that. But then you walk into a professional franchise and you still think you're the big man on campus? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I don't know whether Abdul Carter is going to wake up. I don't know if Abdul Carter is going to have a tremendous NFL career, but here's what I do know. All 32 teams in the National Football League had Carter right near the top of their boards. Maybe not number one, but it wouldn't have been much lower than number one. All teams in the NFL thought that Carter was a can't-miss type of a player, that he had every single characteristic and aspect of dominating in the National Football League. And because he went to Penn State, people compared him to Micah Parsons, that this is going to be the next Micah Parsons. So, he's got a long way to go. Long way to go. This from the 650. Grant, speaking of character, I've noticed that even if you disagree with me or other listeners, you always thank them for listening and commenting. Have you always been like this, and where did you learn it? I've always tried to be respectful to people that are respectful to me on the air. I've had no problem telling people they're a moron or an idiot on the air. I don't have a problem with that. But I like dialogue. I like difference of opinion. And if somebody is going to take the time to stay on hold or call the show, because a lot of people are intimidated by coming on the radio. A lot of people aren't comfortable, and a very small percentage of your audience ever calls a radio show because they get nervous. And then if there's a host like me who in the past has no problem jumping down a caller's throat, that makes them even more nervous. But people should know, because I've been doing this for decades, that it's just really we're having fun and it's just talking sports, and don't lose sleep over it. It's not personal. But I think I do feel that way. I want to thank them for their support. I want to thank them for chiming in. I think it's important. I think you have to have a bond with your audience. I think you have to have like that relationship. I want my audience to know I appreciate them. I appreciate you. I say this all the time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Not only since I started doing this show in September, but over the years and years and years. It's why I've been very open. I don't want to get into this again too much, but it's why I came back after 5 years. I mean, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. On the first show on May 2nd, what did I say? I said, this is not my show. This is our show. I've always taken that approach, that it's our show. It may be the Grant Napear Show by name, because you got to call the show something, but it's not the Grant Napear Show. It's our show. Because without you, I don't have a show. Without you, I don't want to do a show. Even if they wanted to pay me, I wouldn't want to do the show. So thank you for the text message, but that's my approach. That's always been my approach, and it will always be my approach. Like, I'm not going to do radio where I can't have my audience involved. I'm just not doing that. It's not what I want. It's the reason why I started my podcast, and it's the reason why we do so many live shows, and we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages and feedback, and I love that. I want to know what you're thinking, good or bad, whether you agree or disagree with me. I want to know what you're thinking. I've been very open about this with Rhino, all the criticism that Keegan Murray gets, and it's puzzling to me. I understand. I get criticized when I am very critical of Doug Christie. Well, I'm sorry. I think he deserves criticism. Just because he's a former player and the head coach doesn't mean he is immune to criticism. I think he deserves to be criticized. Scott Perry deserves to be criticized. I don't think it's debatable about Vivek Ranadive. I don't have any problem doing that. It's not personal. It's not like I have an axe to grind because I was the announcer for 32 years and then I wasn't, or because of Doug Christie 5 years ago. Like, that's not how I operate my life. It's not how I run my life. Okay? Like, I don't keep track and have vendettas, okay? It's not who I am. So, like, I see what I see. I comment on what I see. Sometimes it's positive. Sometimes it's negative. But when criticism is warranted, I have no problem criticizing. And if you don't like it, too bad. I don't care if you like my criticism or not. I really don't. It's not going to change how I do my radio show. I would hope you like it. And I would also hope that if you disagree with my criticism, that you want to speak to me about it on the air or on the text line, because then we can have some really good dialogue. With that said, we'll continue this conversation. 916-779-0929. This is Grant Napear on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco, serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. The holidays may feel far away, but the best dates are filling fast. At Bennett's, we make every celebration effortless. Host your holiday parties in our elegant private dining rooms, or let us bring the chef-crafted catering right into your home or office. From family dinners to company parties, our team delivers the flavors, service, and holiday magic your guests will remember. Secure your holiday celebration today with Bennett's at bennettsrestaurants.com.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabroods. 1. There's still time for Gabroods to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabroods are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabroods has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabroods, Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, Gubruds, Gabroods.com.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento. Kings and Rockets coming up in a little bit. Rhino, do you think the Kings stay within 10 points of the Houston Rockets tonight? What'd you say the line on this game is, buddy?
15.5.
Second largest of the season other than when they were in Oklahoma City, correct?
November 2nd, Oklahoma City, 18.5. Yes.
Wow.
It's a lot of points. At the end of the game, are they within 10? No, but I do think that they will be within 10 to start the fourth quarter. I do.
Okay. I don't.
You don't.
No,
I know
I
you don't.
I don't. I don't see it. Not unless they change the starting lineup.
Everything in my processing, looking at the numbers, looking at the teams says absolutely not. But just in my gut, it feels like one of those games that the Kings show up like Milwaukee and they have a few good quarters and maybe they close it out. Maybe they don't. I just saw Dennis Schroeder on the court warming up. To my eye, it looks like he's going to give it a go, Grant, but he's still officially questionable.
All right. And he would be coming off the bench anyway. The starting lineups will be released here within 10 minutes. So when that happens, we will let you know. That's the other aspect of what's going on. The awful first quarters. You had given me a minus 4.4 point differential in the first quarter, and yet Doug is resistant to, I think, make the necessary change. And so until that happens, I don't know why those numbers would be any different.
Yeah. Maybe Houston does not shoot the ball well. Maybe you go zone.
Maybe. Yep.
It could be a number of things. Maybe you get Şengün in foul trouble. Who knows? But, Doug, that's the change that I think a lot of Kings fans are waiting for. And do you think the Kings' chances are better or worse with Schroeder in the lineup?
Well, I think they're better. I don't think you can say that Dennis Schroeder is so bad that he's a liability on the floor. I think he has not played well, but I think he's played better for the Kings as a reserve than he has as a starter. What do you think about that?
My only worry with Dennis is the ball sticking. It seems like the ball sticks at all the wrong times. And then on the other end, sometimes he makes some really big plays with some pick and rolls. And offensively, it's the defensive end where you don't know where you're going to get or what you're going to get from him. Because if I had to, and I take the offensive out of it, the defensive end is probably where I'm the most disappointed in Dennis. I was expecting to see him blow up screens and do those little gritty things. You're not seeing it at all.
No. I think the only way the Kings can be competitive tonight, their three-point shooting has to be at a very high percentage.
Yes.
Because with the way the Rockets play and the way they play defense, they don't give you a lot of easy baskets. When you watch the Rockets play, the one thing they do, they defend. They don't give you a lot of easy baskets, so you better make your threes. You better shoot a high percentage, and that means Levine. That means Monk. That means when Keon's on the floor. That means Keegan. And, Keegan's feast or famine with the three, so you have to hope it's a night when it's going in.
Okay, bold prediction. I don't think there's any way Drew Eubanks starts this game because of the matchups. Are you starting Precious or are you starting Max?
I'm starting Precious.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you ask me, if I were the coach, I would have an entirely different starting lineup.
Yes.
Than's on the floor. Like if I were coaching this team right now and it was 5-16, my lineup would look totally different. So I personally would not start Zach LaVine. I would not start Dennis Schroeder. DeMar DeRozan. I don't care how unhappy they are. I don't care what is going on. They're not starting. Okay. I'm not starting Russell Westbrook. I'm starting Keon Ellis. I'm starting Nick Clifford. I'm starting Max Reynaud. And give me two other players. One being Keegan Murray. And then I need one other player, and that's who I'm starting. And if I'm down by 20, but my guys are invigorating and competing, and they're playing their tails off, then that's fine. If they are losing and I'm questioning their transition defense, I'm transitioning their attention to detail and following assignments, then I'm going to the bench.
Okay.
But that's what I'm doing. I'm to the point now where I'm already looking 100% at the future. And I'm going to tell the fans that's what's going on, and that's the direction we're going in. I'm going to say we're not tanking. We're still trying to win. I'm just trying to win with different players.
I'm split. I don't know if I would start. I'm kind of on the fence if I would put Malik Monk into that unit just to.
I got to have Malik's spark off the bench. I need it. I got to have that guy who can change the tempo and the flow of the game. Going against the other team's second unit in all likelihood, I got to have that player off the bench. I think the sixth man is such a valuable role in the NBA. I think it's one of the most valuable positions in the league.
You're spot on. It's a great observation. It's what makes good teams great sometimes.
Yes.
Because it sparks that second unit. Look at Indiana getting TJ McConnell back.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think Max Reynaud is going to get the start tonight.
Okay. All right.
Might be way off. I think Max is going to start tonight.
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, the reason why, here's why I don't have a problem with that. What difference does it make whether the Kings win or lose? It really doesn't matter. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't matter.
That's not how they're looking at it, though.
Well, I'm just saying, though. I mean, you asked me your gut feeling, and I'm saying to me, it really doesn't matter whether he starts or not, because winning and losing is not what I'm looking for with this team right now. I've gotten to a point with this team where I'm looking at, can they be competitive or not? I've changed my mindset with this team from winning and losing to, can they be competitive tonight? That's how bad things have gotten. That's where I want to see. I want to see a team, win or lose, that is competitive. There have been way too many games this year, Rhino, where they have not been competitive.
I'm going to break it down to a more fundamental level. I want to see a team. I want to see guys up and supporting each other and sharing the ball, passing it with a belief that you're going to get it back. That's what I want to see. Because you know what I know, Grant? If you see that, you're going to see a more competitive group.
Give me the Utah Jazz. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Give me give me a team that plays like the Jazz. And the Jazz don't have a lot of wins. Give me a team that plays the way the Jazz play, with spirit, with the energy, where the crowd is into it, despite the fact that they're near the bottom of the standings. Give me that team. That's what I want right now.
Amen. I would take last night's New Orleans Pelicans.
That's saying something.
It is, and they had injuries too. I would take what I saw against the Timberwolves with them last night, the way that they have their roles, the way they share the ball, the way that they read off of each other. Grant, the way they move, they cut on offense. I mean, this is as vanilla can get with the Kings.
Ryan, when's the last time that we did a post-game show where we talked about how good the assist-to-turnover ratio was?
I believe it was Minnesota.
All right. And how many times out of 21, and I'm asking you off the top of your head,
yes,
have we started off with what we think is one of the real key barometers with this team? How many times have we started to talk about that in a positive fashion after a game this year?
4?
Yeah, maybe 4. Right?
Yep.
Right?
There's only been a few times the Kings have gone over 30 assists. That's why. I think that I think I'll look up the numbers, but I think it's right around 4.
Man, that's incredible, is it?
Yeah, and then
out of 21 games.
Yeah, and then you go to something like the free throw line, and you're just shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, they forced 23 turnovers, or I believe off the top of my head, 25 points last game, but then you shoot 59%.
Wow.
From the free throw line, and it wasn't like, 59% on 10 attempts. It was above 20 attempts. You got to do better.
They have to do better in every single category. Is there a category where they don't have to do better on? Seriously. Is there one category where they don't have to get a lot better on? No, there isn't.
No.
Well, when I talk about DAS Mechanical, they do really, really well in all categories. And I didn't know this until recently, that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Bottom line, it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot of money every month on energy bills. So if your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Get in touch with them because nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick Delancey, the owner, and his team, they're experts. That's what they specialize in. They also have 0% financing available and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. They're award-winning. They're locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving the Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Go to dasmechanical.org, dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Book everything online. Check out what their business is all about with their 5-star reviews, their numerous Best of the Best awards. That's dasmechanical.org. When we come back, we'll let you know who's playing and who's not tonight. 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly. but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
My agents just chimed in. Grant, your transition from radio talk to sponsors is impeccable. Do you have this timed? Or shout them out whenever you see fit? Whenever I see fit, generally towards the end of a segment, but I can make the end of the segment whenever I want, with the exception of the end of the hour. So I try my best. All right, Rhino, we've got an update from Houston. Who's in and who's out? And once again, Dennis Schroeder is out, not playing. Malik is available. Steven Adams available, but no Dennis Schroeder tonight. What is that, 4 games consecutively that he's missing?
I believe 3. Is it 4?
Okay.
I think it's 3 off
yeah,
the
3
top
or
of my
4.
head.
But so, yeah. So, all right. So what was the over-under we had on Keon and Neek Clifford?
22 minutes.
Let's hope Neek breaks out and starts looking like the player that we thought he would be.
It's up to
He's
Doug
really
Christie.
been disappointing.
It's up to Doug Christie. Grant, okay. We've seen other players that weren't rookies get 2, 3, 4-minute stints, and that's really hard for them. Remember what Kevin Herter talked about during his time or towards the end of his time? Do that to a rookie. That makes it that much harder. So you got to give Neek, I would say, 8 good minutes where he's not looking over his shoulder.
Let's hope it happens. Don't forget, post-game show right after the game on YouTube and X. We will have it covered for you. And we're also talking about Chris Paul. I have a little bit of a different opinion with Ryan. He doesn't like the way it was done. I don't think you have a problem with it being done. You don't like the way it was done. I want to make sure that I'm not misspeaking for you. Is that correct?
Correct. I have a huge problem with the way it was done.
Okay, gotcha. You just think it's just a bad look,
bad
it's unprofessional. It's a really bad, right. Okay, fair enough. I can see that. But my comments were more like, what's the big deal with Chris Paul not being on the Clippers anymore? Like, that was my issue. How it was done? Okay, fair enough. You sold me on that. I can go along with that.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's caught so much traction. It's not so much Chris Paul is not going to be on the Clippers. Oh, my gosh, this is a huge deal. It's, damn, you did Chris Paul like that?
Well, guess what? He's no longer going to be playing for the Clippers, and probably his NBA career is over. 916-779-0929. Again, that's – go ahead.
You think his career's over?
Who would want Chris Paul right now?
What about Houston? Houston would love Chris Paul.
You think so?
Absolutely.
At age 40 for a guy? Okay. So what role do you see him having with Houston?
He could be a backup point. Who knows? If he's playing well and stays healthy, he can move into that point role. He's played
Why would you think he's going to play well? When's the last time he's played well?
When was the last time he's played, Grant? He killed the Kings last year. He was really good with San Antonio last year.
So you think you think he'll be on the Houston Rockets?
I think
That's
he'll
your
end
forecast.
up in Houston. Yes.
Okay. We'll see. I'm just saying, like, I don't see it anymore with him.
Fair
I
enough.
don't see it.
Fair enough.
Now, how many minutes do you think he could play for Houston? What would be your forecast? Like, what do you think would be realistic?
Tops, probably 17.
Okay. All right.
It makes sense.
Going to be interesting to see what happens there. And it's going to be very interesting to see whether the Kings, their first two games could get really, really ugly when you look at Houston and then spending several days in Miami and then playing the Miami Heat, who are really good, who also play really good defense. Kings are going to see two really good defensive teams, Rhino, back to back.
They are. And Grant, we have the starting lineups.
Wow. Go for it. Read them.
I'm a little surprised. The Kings starting DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, and wait for it, Drew Eubanks. That's surprising to me.
Nothing surprises me with the Kings and their lineups because nothing really makes sense to me.
Kevin Durant for the Rockets, Jabari Smith Jr., Şengün, Josh Okogie, and Amen Thompson.
How about that, huh?
Drew, I love Drew, but that just doesn't.
I do too. I think he's been good for the most part. He's not a starting center in the NBA, but they don't have their starting center who's hurt and Sabonis.
He wasn't brought in to be a starter.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. He's not a starting center, but the Kings don't have a starting center currently on the roster that's healthy.
No, but that's surprising. I would have thought for sure Precious or even Max because of the matchups tonight. But this will be, Grant, and tell me if you disagree, this will be a situation where Precious and Max, assuming they stay out of foul trouble, will play way more minutes than Drew Eubanks.
I would think so. Yeah. I don't know about Max, but Precious, yes, I think so. I could see Max getting overwhelmed in this game. It's good experience for him. I want to see him play. This is exactly what he needs.
Yeah.
I think we got to be careful here that we don't make Max Reno out to be like, Kevin McHale. All right. I mean, I think he's shown some bright spots, but he's got a long way to go. I think we have acknowledged that, need to acknowledge that. And there are still going to be times when he looks lost on the floor and you're like, well, he's a rookie. And there are going to be other times where you're like, wow, the Kings really found themselves a good player in the second round. And I'm okay with all of that.
Yeah. And you know what? I've asked Doug, I asked Keegan, and they both said that they like he can switch 1 through 5. He's willing to take on that task and get on a guard if he needs to. I guess the point I was trying to make earlier about the matchup with Şengün, if we're going to take the 5 best centers in the league and we're going to say Max matches up the best to this one, least to this one, I think Şengün, because of the style that Şengün plays, I would pick Şengün over Jokic. I would pick Şengün over Embiid. I would pick Şengün over some of the other big guys just because Şengün's on the perimeter a little bit more.
All right. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see how many minutes are distributed from the reserves as the Kings and the Rockets will be following it when the game begins. And, of course, we'll be talking about it over on YouTube and X right after the game on about 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes after the game begins. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. NFL, we talk a lot about this crazy weekend. And I say crazy because this is going to, I think this weekend is when you can start crossing off certain teams from the playoffs. I really believe that. I think this is a season-defining weekend for a lot of teams. Season-defining. And one of those games is going to be the first game with Dallas and Detroit. And the loser of this game is probably done. The winner of this game is still alive and still has optimism. The loser, I don't think so. And when you look at the standings right now in the NFC, Detroit is currently 8th and Dallas is 9th. The loser of this game is in deep, deep trouble. In the AFC, if you are hanging on to your slim Kansas City Chiefs hopes, they are 6-6. Their starting left tackle, their rookie is out for 4 weeks. Their starting right tackle may not play. Their starting right guard may not play against a Houston defense, which is dynamite. If the Chiefs lose, see you later. They're done. Okay? They're done. The game between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, huge, because the loser of this game is going to be below 500 at 6-7. And right now, when you look at the schedule and you look at momentum and how poorly the Steelers have looked as of late, this Pittsburgh at Baltimore game, you got to figure that Baltimore is going to win this game, do you not? And Baltimore hasn't exactly blown me away, and there's some juggernaut of a football team, but you got to remember how bad they started, how bad they were. I mean, think about the Baltimore Ravens. If you really want to put your eye on a team, they lost 4 of their first 5 games. Think about that. Actually, they lost 5 of their first 6 games. I beg your pardon. They won against Cleveland in week 2 to go to 1-1. Then they lost to Detroit, lost to Kansas City, lost to Houston, lost to the Rams. How many teams in the NFL start off 1-5 and end up winning the division? Huh? Yeah. Then they beat Chicago. They beat Miami. They beat Minnesota. They beat Cleveland. They beat the Jets. Not exactly great teams. I get that. And then what happened? They lose to Cincinnati 32-14. Like, how do you figure that out? Well, guess who was back on the field for the Bengals? Yeah, Joe Burrow. You think he makes a difference to that team? You know what you love about Joe Burrow? Ask why he's coming back in a lost season. And he said, because I get paid a lot of money to play a kid's game. And I owe it to the fans to play if I'm able to play. Joe Burrow, you're high on my list. Much respect. So here's the schedule for Baltimore. Host Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati, home New England, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. Really tough schedule. That's a very tough schedule. How about that Pittsburgh game at the end of the year? That could be for win or go home. That could be a win or go home game. Now, if you look at the Steelers and what they're facing and a team that is going in the wrong direction, they've lost 3 of 4. They lost to the Chargers 25-10, beat Cincy 34-12, lost to Chicago 31-28, and looked bad in the Buffalo game. Now they're at Baltimore, home Miami, at Detroit. They're going to be hoping that Detroit loses against Dallas because then they may just fade. Then they're at Cleveland, and again, the Baltimore game to end the year. Now, if you look at Detroit, let's assume, just for sake of conversation, that they win this game coming up against the Cowboys. How tough is this schedule? At the Rams, home Pittsburgh, at Minnesota, last game of the year at Chicago. So with the Rams coming up next, I'm not saying the Lions can't beat the Rams, but oh boy, this is going to be one heck of a finish. Let's get to Brian in Auburn. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Grant. The football season is just set up incredibly for the remaining part of the year. Never's been a season in recent memory with so many teams that are right there, and if you get hot in the playoffs, any team can take it this year.
It is wide open. It is going to be so much fun when the playoffs begin next month because there's no favorite, there's no dominant team, even New England. There's no team that you look at and go, oh yeah, they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It is going to be incredible.
Yeah, and you're spot on about Joe Burrow, and I heard that as well. I've already really liked Joe Burrow, but he's now at the top of my favorite current players. It's so refreshing for him to say that, and it's so true. And especially as a Niner fan, when you're dealing with the Brandon Ayuk situation and all this other stuff, just so refreshing for someone to say that, and it's just so simple but true.
Sure is.
And
100%.
I want to get your take. I'm fascinated by the NFC North with the Bears, Lions, and Packers all bunched up there. And I tell you what, some this season for the 49ers, the MVP of the season, obviously everyone's talking about Kyle Shanahan, but for my opinion as a Niner fan, it's been Robert Saleh. What he's done with that defense, that young core, with all the rash of injuries, and just continue to stabilize that unit. To me, he's the MVP of the Niners. And similar, I on the other side, Detroit Lions losing Ben Johnson looks worse and worse with each given week. And what's your take on that?
My take on this is very simple. Very simple. Dan Campbell is the best thing about the Detroit Lions, and he's the worst thing about the Detroit Lions. I think his game management is terrible. I think it has cost him already a chance to be in the Super Bowl with how he coached the game in San Francisco 2 years ago. I think he's a riverboat gambler, and I don't want a riverboat gambler as my coach as much as the players have revolved around him and come together. And listen, I like his passion, and but his coaching decisions to me make no sense. And real quickly, I think Green Bay is going to win that division. They have Chicago this week. I don't think Chicago's as good as their record indicates. I just don't. Then they're at Denver. Then they're at Chicago, home Baltimore, home Minnesota. I just think Green Bay is going to end up winning that division.
I agree. I think Green Bay's finding their mojo right now, and I would pick them. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Lions end up being the team out of the 7 as they are right now, with them having to play Chicago one more time. And I personally don't think Dan Campbell, he doesn't strike me as a play caller. I know he's coordinating with the offensive, coordinator, what have you. I don't know. It seems a little out of place to me just watching a couple games.
Well, he makes the decision go for it on 4th down, not the offensive coordinator. That's his decision.
Right. But just calling the plays and everything, it just seems a little out of the norm for him. And they've seemed a little more stagnant after that first week.
Yeah.
Brian,
good hearing from you.
But,
appreciate it.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Have a good evening. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that. Who's going to win that division? I think it's going to be Green Bay. Who's going to win when you're in real estate? An individual in a business that's been doing it for decades, the experience and everything else. Home equity line of credit, buying a home, selling a home. Get in touch with Spencer at Village Financial Group. He's the broker and owner of Village Financial Group. I've known him for 25 years when he began his family-owned business. He is awesome. He's got a lot of experience. He's a financing specialist. He's very creative, and he has access to private money. Keep that in mind. If you're buying a home, you're selling a home equity line of credit, call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. There's so many properties available right now. It's unbelievable. Over 9,000 available. Go to VFGloans.com. You can check them all out. All right? It makes sense to call Spence or text him at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. John, welcome to the show. How are you?
Grant, I'm doing good. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Man, football season right in the middle of it. Like, I think that was Brian that called. What a good call from Brian, the Niners fan. I think that was a previous call.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good insight. It got me pumped up. And listen, you saying just a few minutes ago, Dan Campbell, you said it perfectly. He's their greatest asset and perhaps their greatest enemy, because his fire is what you absolutely need. But sometimes I just wonder, about going for 4th on all the time.
Well, what happens is I think his decisions change the momentum of the game around if he doesn't make it. And that's what happened in the 49ers playoff game 2 years ago when they had complete control. And when he didn't go for the field goal and he went for it on 4th down and didn't make it, the entire momentum of the game changed. I think if you kick the field goal there, assuming that it's good, I think the game's over. I really do.
Hey, Grant, I think we talked about this a day or two after that happened, and I'm in 100% agreement. Hey, look what Nick Sirianni did. The Eagles, was it Thursday? He had a chance to make it an 8-point game by kicking an extra point.
I know.
And there was still 3.5 or something where he could have, played conventional defense. And then, instead, he left it a 9-point game. I did not understand that.
Yeah.
And people sit here and say, well, analytics say this and that. Well, check it out. Analytics do not say that. I'm about numbers, and, I'm a carpenter. I deal with numbers all the time and so forth. And I love football, which got me into numbers and carpentry. But analytics don't say that. So I don't know what he was thinking. And it just goes to show the game is changing. But like Brian said, man, this season there are so many teams that are still in it right now.
Well, the team you root for is in it, but I think if they lose on Thursday, they're not in it. I think the loser of Thursday's game is pretty much on the outside looking in big time. They're going to need a lot of help. They're going to probably have to run the table. The loser of this game on Thursday is probably done.
You're absolutely right about that. And, hey, look at the beginning of this season. The Lions, they lost, and the Colts won. And we said, 5 weeks from now, it might be exactly opposite. And the Cowboys obviously trading Michael Person, whatever, my favorite player, that didn't help us out. And right now, it's taken us 10 weeks to start to see some semblance of defense that is starting to work together. And the one thing that the Cowboys have not done in so long is finish strong. It's great. Start off 8-2 or something, 10-3. But man, and then crap your pants all the way through.
Well, I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game on Thursday. Normally, Thursday night games are not because it's a short week, but I can see both of these defenses. The Cowboys are going to score. Their offense is really good, and I think Detroit's going to score on Dallas's defense. This could be a very high-scoring game, even though it's Thursday, and generally the Thursday game's a little bit lower because you have players that aren't playing anywhere near 100%. You have key guys that can't make it in 3 days rest, all of that. But I think both offenses, it's really, we keep saying this, but the team that takes care of the ball on Thursday probably wins.
And you're right, Grant. And the thing about the Thursday games, we hate it kind of when they're divisional matchups.
Yep.
But this one seems to be a matchup that is so prime and so key.
I love it.
It's great to see it, and it's not a divisional matchup. Yeah. You know what I mean?
John, I appreciate you. What's for dinner tonight, buddy?
I got a tri-tip. I got grilled onions that I'm just about to put an onion on, asparagus, potatoes, and I got banana split that I'm going to split with my wife for dessert.
You're killing me. I'm sorry that I asked. Enjoy your dinner, John. It's always good hearing from you.
Hey, one more thing.
Quickly.
You got a second I can talk a little bit of King?
I'm going into the break, so let's do it next time.
Love you, buddy. Thanks. Keep it up, Grant. Great work.
Thank you, buddy. Grant's Rant. Yes. Coming up next, more of your phone calls right here at 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Penn State may want to call it due diligence, but the diligent approach is starting to hurt the program. In a loaded Big Ten that demands urgency, the Nittany Lions are drifting through their coaching search at the worst possible time. Today is National Signing Day, And while programs across the country are celebrating, Penn State is standing in the corner with an empty plate. James Franklin's departure was already damaging. His arrival at Virginia Tech turned into a recruiting raid, with several former commits following him to Blacksburg. The result, a staggering picture. Penn State enters signing day with just 4 recruits, a class ranked between Montana State, Missouri State, and Akron. For a program that prides itself on tradition and relevance, it's not a blip. That's a major concern. The timing of the coaching carousel makes chaos inevitable. Penn State is lost in the fog, and the hit they take this cycle could come back to bite them for years to come. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
This holiday season, skip the same old gifts and send something that's truly unforgettable. From Heartland Steak Company, we're talking premium, hand-cut Midwestern meats such as USDA Prime and Choice Beef, all-natural pork, and tender chicken, all delivered straight to their door with care and convenience. Whether you're shopping for family, friends, clients, or anyone who appreciates bold flavor and quality meats, Heartland Steak Co. has something for everyone. Choose from Grill Master packages, holiday gift boxes, or freezer fillers, each one hand-picked, flash frozen, and packed to preserve unbeatable freshness and taste. It's the perfect way to share the true Midwest flavor this season. Ordering is quick and easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And when you order right now and spend $199.99 or more, you'll receive free shipping plus $25 off your order with promo code GIFT. Give the gift of flavor this holiday season with Heartland Steak Co. That's heartlandsteakco.com. And don't forget to use promo code GIFT. Taste the Heartland difference.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
All right, let's get going here, Rhino. What do we have?
Well, Dan Patrick stole a little bit of my thunder, but Penn State, what a mess. Not only with James Franklin leaving, but how many coaches have now gotten paid? Kalani Sitake, the most recent at BYU, to stay back. They only had 2 top 4 recruits signed today on National Signing Day, putting UC Davis and many other smaller schools ahead of them. So that is your first choice. Second choice, sorry, Napes. Going to hit a little close to home. The debut of the Hard Knocks mid-season show on HBO, which is now this season is featuring the NFC East. How about that? The Giants are part of it. Featured Jackson Dart, Theo Johnson, and some other Giants talking about the heavy winds coming on the practice field and saying, well, we're in the Meadowlands. Well, no, it's coming from the river. And one of the coaches has to step in and say, yo, it's coming from the ocean. And then they couldn't figure out, Jackson Dart and his teammates, which direction the Atlantic Ocean was actually blowing the wind from. And your last choice is, I was recently grocery shopping, and I don't know if you've ever seen the people that start eating their groceries before they actually buy their groceries. Unless you're under the age of 3 or have a medical condition where your blood sugar drops and you need to eat something immediately, can you wait till the car, please?
Yeah, can you please at least wait? Now, Rhino, help me out with this. Would it be okay if I'm really, really thirsty and I have a bottle of water in my hand or another beverage and I open it up and I start drinking it and then I put the lid back on and pay for it? Is that okay, or is that unacceptable?
Completely different, because you're going to pay the same price for the bottle of water. If you have a bag of grapes, the price is dropping by every grape you eat.
Oh, so you're talking about produce that has to be weighed if it hasn't been weighed yet. Is that what you're telling me?
It's part of the argument. Yes, part of the category.
All right,
there.
well, I can't. All right, I have to back up. I'm going to go to the lack of geography awareness is unbelievable to me. And I think so much has to do with the fact that people don't even pay attention where they're going anymore in terms of the direction. They just look at their phones and they just follow what the phone says. They don't know if they're going north or south or east or west. I would say one thing about the Meadowlands, like, it doesn't take an Einstein to figure out that when you pull up to practice at the bubble, or you practice outside next to the bubble, right next to MetLife Stadium, you can see all of Manhattan.
It's like you can almost stick your hand out and touch the skyscrapers. You can see the Freedom Tower clear as day. All right? You can see all of Lower Manhattan. You can see all of Mid Manhattan. You can see the north part of Manhattan. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure out. I mean, if you have been to New York, I mean, like most people, because it's one of the most recognizable cities in the world, okay? It's one of the most recognizable cities in the world. It's one of the most traveled to destinations in the world. You don't have any obstruction around you. And whereas you can't actually see the ocean from MetLife Stadium, although if you went up to the top level, you would be able to see it, but not from ground level. You don't know what direction the ocean is? Are you freaking kidding me? You live in New Jersey? How many times have you gone across the George Washington Bridge? How many times have you gone into Manhattan? Have you ever looked from the bridge, left and right? When you look right, you can see the Hudson River and the ocean. When you look to the left, you only see the Hudson River. What would that tell you? Well, it would tell me that the ocean is not to my left. It would tell me that the ocean is to my right. I mean, you have to have absolutely zero sense of direction not to know where the ocean is standing at MetLife when there's nothing around you and you can see everything. Are you kidding me? And which way is the wind coming from? The one thing I will tell you is it doesn't come from any one direction because the wind at the Meadowlands is what they call, Rhino, a swirling wind. It doesn't come necessarily from the ocean. It doesn't necessarily come from the river. It comes from all directions, and all you need to do is talk to the quarterbacks and the place kickers and the punters that have played at the Meadowlands over the decades of football when it opened in 1976. That's what it's known for in terms of the difficulty of the kicking game, particularly late in the year, in November and December, and the playoffs in January. It is a swirling wind. At times, the little ribbons on top of the goalpost will be blowing one way, and 2 minutes later, they'll be going the other way. Now, that's not really the true wind outside the stadium, but it is a swirling wind inside the stadium, and I have been in the parking lot at the Meadowlands hundreds of times, and I will tell you that you can't figure out the direction that the wind is coming from because it changes every 2 minutes. However, even me, as a obnoxious brat, as a teenager, could tell you, standing at the parking lot or in the practice facility at MetLife, back then Giant Stadium, back then just the Meadowlands, where the ocean is. I mean, give me a freaking break. Come on now. I know you went to college at Ole Miss, and there's no ocean near Ole Miss, but I bet if I asked you, hey, the Mississippi River, which direction does it flow? And which way is the ocean from where you're standing? I got to believe, I'm going to take a wild guess that Jackson Dart will be able to point to the right direction. Now, I may be wrong. But I got to believe that he would at least be able to point in the right direction. Jackson, maybe you're taking too many hits. And something else about Jackson Dart while I'm on the subject. First of all, I really like him. I think he's going to be really good. But you can't be good in a wheelchair. You can't be good in a hospital room. And you are going to be in the hospital room real soon in your career if you don't learn to get out of bounds. And something else I don't like, okay? And I've been a real constant about this for decades, all right? Take off the damn jewelry, would you please? I mean, what is the deal with the jewelry on the NFL field? Take it off. I don't want jewelry on the NFL field. Got the diamond necklace or whatever it is that you wear all the time. Explain to me a couple of other things, speaking about athletes. How is it that is not distracting, especially in baseball? How is it not distracting when you see a receiver running down the field
with their mouthpiece bopping around in front of their face as they're trying to catch a football. How is that not distracting? Either put the damn thing in or don't put it in, all right? Put the mouthpiece in or get it off your helmet or put it on top of your helmet. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why do you have a mouth guard when you don't ever wear it? Like, what's the purpose of it? And again, put the mouth guards in or get them off your helmet and take the damn jewelry off, would you please? Take it off. Get the jewelry off. You don't need necklaces on the field, all right? I don't want to see Jackson Dart with a necklace. I don't want to see Justin Jefferson with 3 necklaces that's worth more than my house, that have all my houses that I've owned and all my cars that I've owned. I don't need to see it. What's the purpose of it? Why do you have it? Why do you need to wear it? Like, what's that all about? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't see it in hockey, right? You're not allowed to wear jewelry in the NBA for obvious reasons. Take it off. You don't need it. That's my rant for today. 631, don't forget the swamp. Yeah, well, of course, the famous swamp. That's very true. They have a swamp there at the Meadowlands, which really, the Meadowlands is a swamp. That's really what it is. So, yeah. You okay with that, Rhino, that I kind of deviated from, I didn't know about the food rant well enough to go off on it?
Yeah, no. That's totally fine. I think, though, we got to the core of it. The value of the necklaces. That's what's bugging you. It's seeing how much bling is around their necks.
It's not even that. It could be a rubber band. It just, I don't understand it. Like, I can't imagine being a professional athlete, particularly in baseball, right? When you see players running the base paths and their necklaces are like, the recoil is hitting them in the face as they're running.
Yeah.
And when they swing and miss, they got to step and then put the necklace back into their jersey. Like, I don't understand that. How is that not distracting?
I think it's superstition, and you just get used to it as well. I think they don't even notice it anymore. Now, where I get confused, right, is track and field. Okay? The Olympics. You're running the 100 meters. You're trying to be as light as possible. Your shoes barely weigh anything. But then you've got these big chains on, and it's like, that could be the difference between a gold and a silver. You know what I mean?
Well, there's more gold and silver around their neck than they would win if they won. But yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like swimming.
Listen, I know exactly what you're saying.
It's insane. But no, I get you. I hear you. Especially the guys that are wearing like the earrings under the helmet. That cannot be comfortable. I'm sorry. Having diamonds poking into my ear pads? No, thank you.
Yeah, that wouldn't be because the helmets are very, they're fitted tightly. If you've ever played football, you know how that goes.
Yeah. I think the mouthpiece thing too is a superstition thing from the people that I have talked to.
Well, I would know one thing. Hand-eye coordination in sports is extremely important. And your hand-eye coordination has to be affected if something is moving back and forth in front of your face.
Do you wear a watch when you golf?
No.
Okay.
I don't own a watch.
You don't own a watch?
No. What do I need a watch for? I turn my phone on and it says what time it is.
Okay. I tell you, there is this whole list of napes that I am still uncovering that started with never had a cup of coffee. I forget what the last one was, but now you don't own a watch.
All right. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So I used to go to Thailand about every 3 years to buy my suits, right? And they sell knockoff Rolex watches on the street for, I'm not exaggerating, about $20.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And they have every single type that you can imagine. And you pick one out. And I like one. I was like, wow. And I wasn't really that concerned whether it even told time or not, because it was just a really good looking watch. And so I come back from Thailand and I'm doing a game and I'm standing on the court with Jerry and I've got the watch on and I'm holding my microphone in my left hand, which means that my sleeve on that side of my jacket moves up a little bit.
Right.
And you can see my watch. I had Rudy Gay and a couple of other players go, dude, I love that watch. Let me see that. Man, where'd you get that? That thing is awesome. And I'm just chuckling to myself. See, it just goes to show you
right? You can spend $20 and it look like a $50,000 watch to the eye. If you put it in your hand, you would probably go, that doesn't weigh enough. It's not a real Rolex. But how about that for you? I'll never
Amen.
forget that.
I've joked for years about professional athletes. If I'm going to be rocking jewelry, I'm going to buy the fake stuff because everybody's going to assume it's real.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, when you go to Asia, they have knockoffs all over the place. And like when the women go over there and they buy their handbags and everything.
Yep.
And, I mean,
my dad used to tell me stories. In fact, when he would go to New York, he would sometimes take orders from some of
you go to
our
Canal
friends.
Street. Yeah.
You go there, but they would get let into different side rooms where a soda machine gets moved aside, and then you go to a different room. There's some really nice knockoffs.
When I was with my wife in China on a King's trip, we were in Shanghai, and we went out one night, and we're walking down the street, and an individual comes up to us and shows us on a kind of like a piece of paper all of the bags that are available, and we go, where? And I was very leery because, you have to be very careful when you're abroad, but we said, okay. And I was getting scared because we went into this building, went in an elevator, and we get off on like the 10th floor, and we walk into this room, and it's basically a 2-bedroom apartment complex that has nothing in it other than Louis Vuitton knockoff handbags. Okay? Like you would not believe it. There had to be hundreds and hundreds of bags in there. And again, it's a whole different world that if you don't travel, you don't know that exists. But particularly in Asia, and there are other parts of the world, but like what's for sale and what's available is truly, it's like remarkable. It really is.
Yeah. The little details that those companies put into their bags, a lot of times the high-end knockoffs will have some of those that will confuse people that evaluate those bags. Same thing with shoes, Grant. That's what it's turned into in the shoe market now. Between real shoes, like the Jordans and everything, and the fake ones, it's really, really, I don't want to say sketchy, but they make some really good fakes to where people lose a lot of money.
Well, I will tell you, I'll never forget standing on the court with my fake Rolex and being complimented by multi-millionaires. That was a highlight in my broadcasting career, Rhino. I want you to know that was a highlight in Grant Napier's lifestyle of the rich and famous. I moved up the ladder in the eyes of the players going, whoa, dude, where'd you get that? What a watch. Let me see that.
That is so cool. What happened to the watch?
Boy, I don't know. I stopped wearing watches 8, 9, 10 years. I had like 2 or 3 of them.
See, I'm surprised you don't wear a smartwatch for the health benefits. Because
I you know what? I used to, and then I'm like, I didn't need it. It's not a big deal,
Did you ever wear one of those power balance bands when it was power?
Yeah, I did. And that figured that I learned in about 2 days how stupid that was.
What a way to make money. Those things got popped.
I know.
They got on the arena. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Don't waste your money. That's the bottom line. Don't waste your money. And when you have to spend money, you want to do business with a company that is really good at what they do, very reputable, great reviews, awards. That's DAS Mechanical. And I love talking about them. Again, I've talked about this. Did you know that most of the homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? Again, the bottom line here, it's getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. Now, if your current heating and air system is 15 years old or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Get in touch with them. Nearly all of DSA's work, gas to electric, that's what they do. And gas to electric, whole system changeouts. Nick Delancey and his team, they're experts. They specialize in this. They also have 0% financing available if needed, and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, that's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Go to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Book online. Look at their business model, which is outstanding. Check out their incredible reviews and their numerous awards. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org. An update from Houston when we come back, and the rest of the NBA and more on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Need new tires? From now until December 15th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone Weather Peak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $70 instantly at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid now through December 15th. Cannot be combined with other offers. See Express Tires for details.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
916-779-0929. Kings are currently up by 3. 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. They've already gone to the bench with Malik Monk, Clifford, Reynaud. A low-scoring first quarter so far with the Rockets and the Kings. So you're right. I think Max Reynaud will play a lot if he stays out of foul trouble in this game.
Yeah, a lot of early turnovers in this one.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, by both teams. You know, the one thing that we don't talk about enough when it comes to defense, and maybe we talk about it enough and we're just tired of talking about it, just the Sacramento Kings' inability to keep the ball in front of them with their guards is where it really starts. You know, it's such a problem. It's such a problem. It creates so many mismatches defensively because, you know, you're past one guy and then it's a draw and kick and then one extra pass and you get a wide open shot.
Yeah, I really believe it's been about 75-25 this season, where 75% out of position, but 25% going for what we call fake hustle, where you're trying to make a play that you probably can't make, and that puts you now and puts the rest of the team at a disadvantage.
When you watch Kevin Durant, how effective do you think he still is? Like, how do you grade him out right now?
It's a great question. I really look at if he's staying within himself. When Kevin Durant tries to do too much, that means you're not using Kevin Durant correctly. So if he's able to get to his spots and he's got that right combination between mid-range and three-point range. I don't give him a big grade for defense. I don't consider it a major part of
Right.
his game. But offensively, if he's staying within his game, that's when I grade him out well.
Keon Ellis is into the game in the first quarter, so that's a positive, Rhino.
Yeah, Grant, I think you've got to throw just lines and lines of people
Yes.
at the Rockets tonight, especially the guard line with Reed Shepherd. They're still trying. He's played well. He's had 14 points and 4 assists over the last 4 games, but he's still relatively new to running that point. So it's a great time to have Neat Clifford get into him. It's a great time to have Keon Ellis get into him. Might help you cause some turnovers or stop them from getting to their spots as well.
Did you realize that one of your rant ideas about in the store, when we think on the text line, is actually called grazing? Snacking and eating your food before you reach the checkout is actually considered stealing. Grazing is a real problem. How about that? I was not aware of that.
I did not
Did you know that? Seriously, I was not aware of that. Now, I would think if you're eating your food that is weighed and therefore you're paying less, then yeah, I would think that's basically stealing and illegal. But I didn't know there's a term for it. Did you know that?
I did not know, because I predominantly shop at a store that serves hot foods where you can get it and, walk around the store and eat a little bit if you want. But my bigger problem with it, Grant, is if you're eating stuff and your fingers are gross and you're touching other things in the store, like, I don't want to pick up a box of cereal that's greasy.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
Grazing. Huh.
Grazing. Grazing. Yeah.
I wonder how long that term's been around. That's great. Grazing.
Somebody say, Grant, why did the Clippers cut ties with CP3 the way they did? Seems like a Kings move because he can't play anymore. I mean, he wasn't doing anything with the Clippers. And I don't know why they did it when they did it, as Rhino said. The timing certainly could be up for debate, but why not? I mean, to me, I think I don't think he can play anymore. Ryan disagrees with me, and he thinks he's going to be on Houston, and he may very well be, but I think he has very, very little left in the tank. Very little.
I would agree. There's not. I mean, he's quarter of a tank left at most, and still has about 100 miles to go. But to the texter's point, it was about the mechanism. It's how it's done, and not that it was done because, Grant, even if it wasn't in the middle of the night, you didn't do anything with Chris Paul. You just sent him home. You had the ability to cut him right there and send him home. No, we're just going to send him home. Like he's a nuisance, a problem. And I just think, Grant, would you, with your experience in the NBA, if the Kings did that to a veteran like Russell Westbrook or somebody that's going to be a future Hall of Famer, wouldn't that be seen as disrespectful amongst the guys?
I would know what's going on. And generally speaking, my experience with moves that are this peculiar are done for a reason. And organizations know a lot more about what's going on with their team and behind the scenes than we do. And generally speaking, when there's a move that's made that appears to be the way it is, there's normally good reason for doing it. That's been my experience over the years when these type of moves are done. There's a real good reason for it. Very rarely is it done for any other reason other than it was necessary.
Yeah. No, fair enough. It's just peculiar that you don't completely cut ties with him. You're going to make him sit it out until he's trade eligible. You don't, maybe you're going to work a buyout, but why would you buy out the vet minimum? That doesn't make sense.
NBA, Portland has a big lead in Cleveland, 78-62, but a lot of time left there with 7:45 left to go in the third. Nuggets are blowing out the Pacers in Indianapolis, 88-61, as they approach the halfway point of the third quarter. Spurs lead the Magic 71-59. That game has elapsed 4 minutes in the third. The Clippers are in Atlanta. They lead 45-38, 2:55 left to go before the half. Knicks at home over the Hornets, 49-42, 2:25 left to go in the first half. Nets and Bulls underway first quarter, 21-20 Nets. The Pistons have a big lead in Milwaukee already, 19-4 with 4:25 left in the opening quarter. And a little bit later, the Heat and the Mavericks.
You're probably, so right now with the Kings, they're down 119-18, but you've got Max, Neek, Malik, Precious, and Keon on the court. This
I like
is this is the group that can make that push. This is the group that can play 1 through 5. And what you'll likely see is Doug Christie either sub out Max or Neek and bring Keegan back in, and that gives them even a bigger boost. So watch for the Kings to maybe make a little run right here.
I like it. I like this lineup. I like it. So I think a lot of the fans would like that too if it were a home game. I think they'd enjoy seeing this lineup.
Yep. Amen. And to Doug's credit, he said last game against the Grizzlies, he couldn't get back to that lineup because they kept going big. So credit to him for going back to it now.
All right. Again, we'll keep you up to date on that. Reed Shepherd's been an interesting story, has he not, this season for
Very
the
much.
Houston Rockets?
Played very little last season, was going to be playing a little bit more coming into the season, and then got thrust into the spotlight when Van Vliet went down. He's done a decent job of handling it, and he's exploded on some nights, Grant. He's had some 30-plus nights already.
Ime Udoka, the coach of the Rockets, a one-time Sacramento King, obviously tremendous years in San Antonio with the Spurs, and has the Rockets playing very well in the Western Conference, coming off a win, coming off a loss in Utah, looking to get back on track. Again, the Rockets, they're just breaking down the Kings defense at will whenever they want. There's no stopping of the basketball. It's just layup after layup after layup. It's just unbelievable to me.
Grant,
now 21-18.
18-4 points in the paint lead for the Rockets right now. 18 of their points have come in the paint.
Yeah. And a lot of sloppy ball handling by both teams in this first quarter.
It benefits the Kings. That's where the Kings need to clean it up on their end and hope that Houston continues to do the same, or you throw a couple traps at them. You try to throw some gas on that fire.
All right, 916-779-0929, 916-779-0929. The Rockets, again, turning the ball over. I don't have the total in front of me. How many turnovers is that for them? This is unbelievable how many times they're turning the ball over.
Yeah,
and a lot of them are unforced turnovers.
Yeah, right now, turnovers, as I look, right now the Rockets have 5, and the Kings have 5. The Rockets have 2. So points off of turnovers. The Kings only 2 points off of those turnovers, 5 off. Oh, I'm looking at points. Excuse me. Let me double check that.
Well, whatever it is, because of the turnovers, it's a very low scoring, and the Kings just turned it over again. It's a low scoring first quarter with 1:25 left. It's 21-20 in favor of the Houston Rockets. But both teams have been very careless with the basketball in the first.
6 turnovers.
The 3-point shooting's been terrible.
6 turnovers by each team. And that's what
that's terrible.
Yeah, that's what you want, though, if you're the Kings. You want the 3-point shooting to be bad. And I have not seen enough to see if they've thrown a little zone their way, but that is good. And the big number, too, to watch here is the offensive rebounds. That's where the Rockets can absolutely gash the Kings. They're the best in the NBA at it, and as of right now, they've only got a couple, so you got to keep that low.
Yeah, Max Reyno's showing a lot offensively. I really like his development. The Kings are playing a zone currently, and what they just did is give up a dunk. The Kings don't know how to play man-to-man defense, and they don't know how to play zone. They don't know how to do anything.
No,
they really don't. I mean, it's embarrassing.
I disagree.
It's embarrassing.
Grant, their zone has actually been pretty good, and Jerry would agree with you there.
Well, I mean, their zone is at many times, though, they are giving up. Here, let me back up. A team that is patient and a team that plays together breaks the Kings zone down like they're going through paper. All right. The good teams have no problem with the Sacramento zone. They just don't. I'm sorry. Denver had no problem with the Kings zone. Oklahoma City, really, despite being a poor 3-point shooting team, got high quality shots. Houston is having no problem at all getting layups and dunks off the Kings zone. So, like, when you say the Kings defense has been pretty good, has it been pretty good based on what they wanted to accomplish, or has it been good based on the other team missing open shots?
No, what they want to accomplish. You just named the top or 3 of the top teams in the Western Conference. Good teams, very good teams know how to break down zones. That's what they do. They have the players to do so. They get somebody in the middle of it. They don't try to run their man offense against it. So you're giving me 3 examples of the best teams to do it. You've got Jokic, Şengün, and SGA. But
they've also played 6 games out of the 21 against those teams, so it pops out of my mind. I'm sorry. The Kings, I'm not even a fan of a zone defense in the NBA for the most part, because you're talking about the best players in the world, and most teams, other than poor three-point shooting teams. So I'm going to make that caveat. If you are not a really good three-point shooting team, your zone can be effective because generally speaking, your zone is going to allow the other team threes, and therefore you've got to take away a team's strength and try to play to their weakness. So if their three-point shooting is a weakness, then that's fine. But I don't know. I watch layups and dunks game after game after game with this Kings team, Ryan, and I ask myself, well, is it because they're undersized? Is it because they're just not that good individually defensively? Is it because, as Doug talks about, there's not enough communication? Like, why is it that every time I watch a Kings game, I'm seeing dunks and layups repeatedly? Why is that?
Number one, the Kings might be, and please don't take this the wrong way, anybody, the most unathletic team in the NBA.
They are.
They are
You're
one
right.
of them.
You're right.
So you get that, you mixed it with oversize, and then you mix it with playing old guys. That's what you're going to see. When you see the younger guys that are a little bit more athletic, you don't see as much of that.
Okay.
That's the line in the sand for me. And many times, Grant, those guys aren't playing consistent minutes.
Again, turnovers, the real story here in the first quarter at 28-26. We're going to break it all down on the postgame show with Jerry and Ryan. Again, that is coming up on YouTube and X right after the game. Again, the first quarter, again, we talk about the turnovers a lot. 6 for the Kings. And here's the alarming part of that, Ryan. All right. So, well, actually, now the number on my screen has it at, it's six turnovers, 6 assists. And on my screen, and again, these stats are not always accurate depending on what you're using. 6 turnovers for the Rockets and 9 assists. That's a lot of turnovers for both teams. And a lot of the turnovers that I watched were unforced.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking at the official first quarter box. So 6 turnovers for each team, 5 points given up by the Rockets on their turnovers, 2 points given up by the Kings on their turnovers, 7 of the Kings' 11 field goals assisted. And then for the Rockets, 9 of their 13 field goals assisted. But the biggest story right now is the points in the paint. The Kings are just absolutely getting murdered there.
And the other big story is Max Reynaud off the bench in 9 minutes already has 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting and 2 of 2 from downtown.
The downtown part is the added bonus right there. That's the added bonus. And Grant, much credit to him for not being afraid to pull that shot.
Yes.
You got to have some confidence to do that as a rookie.
I told you when I had lunch with Peja Stojakovic back in, right before training camp began, I was with Peja, and he was raving about Max. He said he told me he would start him. I'm like, you would start him? He goes, yeah, I would start him. The guy's going to be really good. I go, he should start? He goes, yep, he should start. I'm like, wow, that's high praise. He goes, I watched him play a lot. I'm telling you, he's going to be really good. And I was like, okay. But he said he told me he would have started him in the first game of the season.
It's very high praise. Peja watches a lot of basketball in that age group, too, because of his son.
Yes, he does. Hey, final segment when we come back, 916-779-0929. Grant Napear, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Cameron, I just think we need to, see other people.
Are you trading me in?
No. A trade-in is what I'm getting from Kitchen Mart.
A trade-in?
Right now, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 credit when you trade in your old kitchen countertops for something worth showing off, like granite, marble, or solid surface.
I'm not worth showing off?
Not like the stunning new quartz countertops Kitchen Mart just installed for Karen and Tom. Durable, easy cleanup, made their kitchen look brand new. And Kitchen Mart gave them a $750 trade-in credit to haul off their ugly old tile and grout countertop.
You're dumping me.
That's harsh. You want me to wait till I get the new countertops from Kitchen Mart?
At least hold off till Wednesday. I'm seeing Susan.
Susan!
Now's the perfect time to trade up to beautiful new quartz, granite, marble, or solid surface countertops. Because for a limited time, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 trade-in credit for your old countertops. Go to kitchenmart.com today and schedule a free in-home consultation and save $750 off new countertops.
No one does it better than kitchenmart.com.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops. Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580 or go to elitepower.com.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Final segment. And if you like turnovers, you'll really enjoy watching the Kings and the Rockets game by both teams. It's unbelievable. Seriously, the Rockets just, they have, I think, 9 turnovers already. It's incredible to me. All right, 34-32 is the score with the Kings up by 2. Don't forget, the post-game show is coming up on YouTube and X right after the contest. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan, and myself will be on. Again, that is on YouTube and X. If you want to get in on the program, you can do so before we adjourn. 916-779-0929. Says, Grant, the Kings are way too small for this Rockets team. How do the Kings counter that? Well, they're going to have to really score in transition, and they're going to have to, make their perimeter shots. They are small. But if the Rockets keep playing the way they are, which to me has been very careless with the basketball, then the Kings will be in this game. The Rockets many of their turnovers are unforced. So right now it's a close game at 36-35. Keep the messages coming on the text line, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. We will have a lot of football talk tomorrow. Chris Landry from LandryFootball.com as we get ready to start the football weekend with a really good game tomorrow with the Dallas Cowboys in Motown taking on the Detroit Lions. And the loser of that game is going to be in a lot of difficulty. I think the loser of that game is going to be done myself. I think it's going to be a real problem, the team that loses
with Dallas at Detroit. So we're going to talk a lot of football tomorrow. We talk about Chris Landry. He lives in Baton Rouge, so he's got all of the information as it pertains to Lane Kiffin and what the mood is down there in the Bayou. That's going to be coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock with Chris Landry from LandryFootball.com. Also, we'll preview the NFL games more so tomorrow. I'm going to try to reschedule Sean Salisbury, who was unable to join us yesterday, for Friday. I'm going to see what his availability is. And then, of course, we will get you into the weekend. But a close game going on right now in Houston with the Rockets leading by the score of 40-36. There is currently a timeout on the floor, which gives me a chance to update you on some of the other scores going around in the association. The Blazers still lead the Cavaliers by double digits in Cleveland. It is now it's a 9-point game. The Cavaliers just made a basket, 84-75, with 3 minutes left to go in the third. The Nuggets are cruising in Indiana, 93-71, 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the third. Spurs have a 7-point lead in the world of Disney against the Magic, 86-79. At the break, the Clippers lead the Atlanta Hawks. The score there of 55-41. You've got the Knicks 6 better than the Hornets at halftime. The Nets are in Chicago, and they have opened up a 13-point lead on an 8-0 run to start the second quarter. It is 37-24 right there. The Pistons are in Milwaukee, and they lead 34-27. Heat Mavericks are just underway in Dallas, and already the Miami Heat have an 8-point lead, 10-2. So that gets you completely caught up on your NBA scoreboard, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929 as the Kings play the Miami Heat next, followed by the Indiana Pacers. Games are very well spaced out here, which is good because you get a chance to practice. There's no back-to-backs, and there should be no issues of, gee, I'm tired, this or that. So at least in that sense, Rhino, this is a very good road trip for the team because it's spaced out.
Yeah, practice time is gold this time of year.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what you want. So
because you very rarely get practices in when you're on the road. So this will enable them to do so. And I don't know if the Kings, they'll probably not fly to Miami tonight, I would guess. I don't know that for sure. I would think they'd probably stay there and then go to Miami tomorrow and then park themselves there for a couple of days. Always good when you can have a couple of off days in Miami.
Could be worse places. That's for sure.
Yeah, there are worse places. I used to love when we had a layover in Miami. It was always phenomenal. Always phenomenal.
Especially this time of year. Get some sunshine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's great. It is great.
Looking at so here's my key. I mean, you talked about the turnovers. The Rockets are second in the NBA in 3-point percentage. The Kings have been baiting the Rockets so far into taking bad threes, but now they've hit 2 in a row. So can you continue or put a cap on that? Because the Rockets were only 17% in the first quarter. They were 20% up until those last 2 threes. So that's going to be huge closing out.
It is going to be huge.
First half.
Yeah. I think the Kings have played pretty well in the first half, to be honest with you. Other than the turnovers, I think they've been playing pretty well.
I would agree. I'd like to see more points off of the Rockets' turnovers because it's unlikely you're going to see them do that again in the second half. But
very true.
All things considered, 15.5-point dogs. They're hanging in there. I told you 10 points, I thought.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, close game right now. And again, turnovers continues to be the story for both teams. It's been a real problem. Hey, what is not a problem is using Village Financial Group when it comes to your real estate needs, buying a home, selling a home equity line of credit. They're awesome. And their broker owner, Spencer Grimmenstein, I've known for a couple of decades when he began his family-owned business. So, again, if you're in the market, you're looking for experience, you're looking for a financing specialist, Spence is that. Very creative. He has access to private money, and he's fine with you. Send them a text, call, or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go online to vfgloans.com, you'll find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. The Kings and the Rockets, pretty entertaining game other than the turnovers, but the Kings, I will say one thing, are playing very competitively tonight, which I always like to see. The bench, led by Max Reynaud, has been a real bright spot. Max looks really good. You called that at the beginning of the game. You thought he would have a good game. He's been really good.
Max
He's been really good.
Tremendous. He's changing some shots down low, just very composed and playing well here in the first half.
Yeah, passing the ball, scoring the ball. And, again, I think the team that starts taking better care of the ball will be the team that is going to have the advantage here. That's been the issue in this first half for both teams.
It's a great point. Max has played just 3 seconds under 10 minutes. You've got 7:52 for Neek, 7:15 for Precious, 6:31 for Keon Ellis. So, Doug, giving those guys a little bit more runway, Grant.
And there's a review. Zach LaVine was going in for a layup, and the Houston Rockets challenged it on the play. So, again, 40-38, Houston has the lead with 6 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the first half. Again, just a reminder, we do all the post-game shows over on YouTube and X, so make sure you join us right after the game. Ryan, Jerry Reynolds, and myself, we will be on, and I am very much looking forward to talking about this game, and hopefully we're talking about a win, because I like the way the Kings are playing right now.
Yep. And
by the way, the Rockets won the challenge.
It would be a nice way to start off the road trip, especially with the time off in Miami. You can build on it during practice, as we've talked about. Doug Christie, surprisingly, has done really well this season at challenges. I know he didn't challenge this one, but keep an eye
There's
on
nothing
that.
to challenge there for him, but
Right.
the Rockets challenged it because the ball did not hit the glass first, which means it wasn't goaltending. It was a clean block. So the challenge successful for Houston. So the basket does not count, and there will be a jump ball with just about the halfway point of the second quarter. The Blazers have now opened up a larger lead at the end of 3 in Cleveland. I don't have a good read on Cleveland. You know, they were the number 1 seed last year, and I thought they'd be right back, and they're not playing nearly as well. And right now, you know, Detroit looks better, right? The Knicks look better. I mean, I think Orlando's starting to come on. I don't know about the Cavaliers right now.
Yeah, I thought Cleveland would regress a little bit. I really did. And maybe they'll pick it up as the season goes along. By the way, text line, yes, we do take text messages. You can hit that up, 779-0929-916 area code. Question for you. This game right now, where we sit, we are at 42-42. If it is a race to 100 points, does that benefit or does that hurt the Kings?
What do you mean a race to 100 points? What do you mean by that?
One of those games where the first team to 100 points is probably going to win. Is that a low-scoring game?
I think that helps the Kings because the Rockets are known for a pretty good defensive team. So I think if they can get to 100 first, and it, as you said, a race, I think that helps them. I want to see the Kings have a close game with 5 minutes left and close that on the fourth the way they did against Minnesota at home a week ago. I want to see them do that on the road. They did it at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see them do it again here against Houston, who's a really good team.
Well, those were 2 different types of games because the T-Wolves game, the Kings had to come back. You know, Malik goes on that 7-0 run. That was a wire-to-wire win for the most part in Milwaukee. That was a 4-quarter performance by the Kings.
No question about that. It was, but it was also, again, it was a shootout. There was no defense being played by either team in that game. The final score was 135-133.
Spot on. You're absolutely right there. Either way, it's a win, right, partner?
It was one of the Kings' 5 wins this year.
I did not think it was going to be that bad at Thanksgiving.
I love what I'm seeing from Max Reynaud, man.
Max looks
great.
great.
Looks good. Yeah, he looks good. All right, again, the Rockets and the Kings, we'll talk about it on the post-game show over on YouTube and X with Rhino and Jerry. So we are very much going to be dialed in on the game. that is really a good game right now. 47-44, the Rockets and the Kings. Both teams have had the lead. Both teams are being able to score rather easily, which I think is a real benefit for Sacramento, that they're being able to score as easily as they have been in this first half. We'll see what happens here the rest of the way in the second half, but so far, a pretty competitive game for the Sacramento Kings. Don't forget, post-game show. We're looking forward to it afterwards, YouTube and X. Appreciate you. Chris Landry tomorrow, LandryFootball.com. We'll talk about everything going on with LSU and Lane Kiffin, the NFL. We'll get you ready for the Lions and the Cowboys. We'll talk about tonight's game between the Kings and the Rockets. We'll go over it again. We'll have all of that. We'll have some post-game sound. That's tomorrow, beginning at 3 o'clock on Fox Sports Sacramento. Talk to you in a little while over on YouTube and X. For Rhino in Sacktown, Grant Napear saying so long, everybody. Thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country, and your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
The voice of Sacramento